Welcome to Castle Gorlenstein. I forgot to transition the scene. Fuck!
Oh no, our beautiful face.
Our beautiful faces were not animating, but now they are.
Oh,
God
that's
damn
so
it!
terrifying. Oh shit.
Beans.
Everybody's, we're gonna do it again. Go back. Pretend you didn't see this.
Wait, really? Oh, okay.
No, not really. Oh my god.
Okay. Sure.
Lord Almighty.
That is a goddamn Dracula.
I mean Satan Almighty, right?
Oh, beans.
Spooky.
Speaking of beans, there is a new community challenge started, just in case. You know. Well, hello, everybody. Well,
Hello, everybody.
Okay,
I'm not
well-
beholden to this rule. I can be a normal Dracula. A normal Dracula in America.
Well, that challenge lasted really quickly. I watched the vampire voice already. People
Oh,
really
no.
seem to hate it, apparently. But it's okay.
Well,
I got a new challenge just for this occasion. Here we go. A new challenge.
What have you done, chat? You
What have you
thought
done?
you thought
You thought you were safe, but actually... Holy crap. Okay. I think I'm going to be hoisted by my own petards.
oh no. Oh,
Oh, please.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it too.
What?
This is a nightmare. I have to listen to the whole thing. They can leave whenever they want.
I am back!
Man,
Oh,
it's you.
it's me. Wait, no, that's wrong.
Oh no. It's me. Do both of them.
Well, today we are going to read some spooky stories. I'm glad that my hubris has come home to roost.
Oh, good. The nest was looking so cold and empty without that. We've really made a house a home now.
It's true. I'm just setting something else up because Twitch would only let me do 2 challenges at once. There
Oh my
we
God.
go. Here's a new community challenge for you all. Wahaha, I guess. Anyway, I was sort of expecting to have to keep the vampire voice for a little bit.
But at least a story or two.
At least a story or 2. But here we are. It's my fucking birthday, and I can do whatever the fuck I feel like, I guess.
It's true.
It's true.
Now, which birthday do vampires celebrate? Is it the day that they were born or the day that they were undeadalized?
That's a good question. I don't
Thank you. I
fucking
guess-
know.
I guess it would just be common courtesy to Draculize somebody on their birthday so they don't have to think about it too hard.
You know, I was thinking about that sort of thing last night. Not exactly the Draculization part, but the, how you say, birthday part. The dying on the birthday. There is probably a lot of people who die on their birthday on account of birthday stress. Yes?
Sure. You've got your whole family hiding in your house, and you come home, and they're like, surprise! And then you just have a heart attack
You
and fall over
just
dead.
drop the fuck dead.
That's what happens.
I feel like I'm about to be hoisted by my own petards with the voice again. Oh, beans.
But it's okay. I do not have a community challenge, and I can dip into the voice whenever I want.
Oh,
Ooh.
spooky.
Even though I'm not a vampire, I'm a Frankenstein.
You are a Frankenstein.
My neck bolts are itchy.
Well, dang, it's cool to see you all here. Ooh. And
Ooh.
it's cool to see that somehow this gimmick has not scared you all away.
Yay.
So, the idea of this stream is that we have picked out some spooky stories for each other to read and for both to read. So, for the beginning, I want Sleet, you shall read My Family. And if you need
Oh,
me to cut in with voices for any of the characters, just let me know.
okay. Although I don't think this one has any voice acting.
Wait, hang on, that was a pick from you or for me. Whoops.
It sure was, and I've instantly confused.
Me also. Well, this one is by uh Hansik on Reddit. Because, sometimes you have to get modern to find spooky stories. It is what it is.
True.
Reddit is a fucking wasteland, but sometimes there are good things on
It's got a couple of haunted houses here and there.
it. I died 8 years ago. It wasn't particularly tragic or unusual, just a car accident. I don't blame the man who bit me. He was speeding because his wife was in labor and there was black ice on the road. He lost control of the car, and I lost control of my life. It's not his fault. I know that. I am not cruel. I am not vengeful. If anything, I am the opposite. You see, I don't have any family left, and I had lost my few friends around that time. When it was time for my funeral, the only people who came were my boss and the family who killed me. The wife held her newborn daughter close to her chest. I hated my boss, and the cemetery was awfully lonely, so I followed the family home. Lily may as well have been my own flesh and blood. She was sweet and bright and oh so very small. She had trouble sleeping if someone wasn't rocking her crib, and their parents were so tired. Sorry, I'm a Sean Connery vampire now.
Oh, no.
I guess that's kind of the whole thing of Highlander, isn't it?
Oh my god, you're right.
Are they vampires? I'm not quite sure.
I mean, I guess they're not vampires.
They're not vampires, it's very true. After they put her to bed, it was very easy for me to rock her crib for her. I didn't get tired. I could help her. As the years passed... a German philosopher voice, I suppose. I was kind of going for a vampire, just a Dracula voice. But here we are. I am watching the points creep up.
The philosophy of bloodsuckers.
The Philosophy of Bloodsuckers, Chapter 1. As the years passed, Jack and Laurie realized they weren't alone in the house. It didn't take long from there to make a connection between my funeral and when I had showed up. I'd never been malevolent, so they weren't afraid or angry. They started to burn candles on the anniversary of my death day. They left an empty chair for meals and holidays. I really felt like a member of the family. Someone is trying to force the door. It's Laurie's ex. He's obsessive, he's angry, he's going to hurt the family. My family. The thing about ghosts is, the more offerings you get, the stronger you become. I'd been enjoying candles, trinkets, and even the occasional food item for the past 5 years. I was strong from that. The knife feels warm in my hand, a shock of heat against the ice of my skin. Laurie, Jack, and Lily are my family. I care about them. And they're not going to join me yet. The end. I should really have that thunder sound. That real thunder that we have. It's for spooky occasions. It's a real thunder. Wait. Hardcore.
Hardcore. Because
we kind of became egghead just unanimously. Whoops.
we're close to Egghead.
We're close. No.
Oh no.
I don't like the I cannot escape the egghead. There we go. I have to do this kind of the whoop a boob a boob speaking pattern. I want to suck all the air out of this room with my
It's
bad
got
voice.
a nice kind of warble to it. It's kind of a lean forward, and then you've got kind of the singer's warble.
The warble.
The warble.
The
The warble.
warble. Oh, I'm sad. Whoops, that was the wrong expression. Hang on.
Oh
Let
no,
me
no, I also upset. Oh.
let me fix my face. There we go. If you don't have the proper cadence, you're just going to be a yinglet. Oh, pish. That is why someone said that I got yinged for a few moments.
Oh no. Vampires speak in iambic pentameter. More like iambic pentagram.
A tur.
A tur-
Oh! I don't like the implication that if I do not raise the 6,000 points this stream, we have to keep speaking like the Dracula for 2 days. That kind
I
of
don't
sucks.
like that either because I'm going to have to hold her to that. I don't know that I necessarily agreed to this.
It's going to bleed over into the next stream, at the very least. It's going to be bad for everyone.
Oh.
Dracula voice until the witching hour. Oh, wait, I think we might be there. Natural 20 push us over the edge. Not quite. It is close.
Right.
We're close. And we're
We're
right
close.
back to Edgehead.
Oh dear.
Oh, so I think after that spooky tale, I might quite like you to read Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
Mr. Bones.
Mr. Bones.
Give me a second to load up. Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, written by somebody.
The creepypasta Vicky is very bad at attributions.
It just kind of exists. It always has been. It wasn't written. It's a real story. Get ready to be very afraid. I don't know. You're making me do it. Like I'm just hearing you, and I have to do it.
It's
Got
contagious.
like a mimic.
I've got audible vampirism. I bite you and you
no.
become an audio vampire.
No, I have to talk about blood. Is that how that works?
What?
What? Well, you're a vampire. You drink blood, but an audible vampire has to talk about blood or listen to blood.
Oh,
I guess I'm gonna go grab a blood bag and just kind of squish it against my ear and be like, "Oh, energy."
I did hear you say you have to talk about butt. Oh God. Oh,
Well, I just do. Oh my God!
Chat's released me from the curse.
The curse. The curse is lifted.
Oh,
Thank Christ.
oh. Okay. That bit is fully done. No more fucking around with challenges.
You mop the sweat off of your forehead. So there you go.
God. Oh my God.
All right. Okay, we'll move on to the next story then and give you a moment to rest and collect yourself. So this is called Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. Oh, it starts off real strong, Jax. What is this going to be? So, anyone who's been on the V board at 4chan.
Oh, I'm scared already. Wait, hang on.
No. Probably knows about Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. For those who don't, it was a ride someone made for Roller Coaster Tycoon. It was one of those really slow motor car rides, but with a twist. It had 30,696 feet of track and a ride time of 70 real-time minutes. Around 4 years in game time.
Unnatural 20 has asked a question. Do vampire voice anyway. Which is not a question, but you know.
Props of the skeleton holding out his top hat scattered around here and there, as if to mock the customers. I'm not going to do that. Needless to say, there were a lot of passengers screaming, "I want to get off Mr. Bones' Wild Ride." Now here's where things get really good. Once the ride came to a stop, the passengers found themselves on a long path that took about 2 hours to traverse. Once they reached the end, they found themselves facing a sign that read, "Mr. Bones says the ride never ends." The path led straight back to the entrance of Mr. Bones's wild ride. There was nowhere else to go. In other words, they were fucked. Needless to say, this gained a lot of popularity on /v/ and people started
Mm-hmm.
making their own Mr. Bones's wild rides. As I was one of them, and I made a version with the ghost train ride. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, you know the one that's usually a huge death trap. It didn't last as long as the original, but it did have a twist.
Oh.
Near the end, it launched the cars into a small shed with a sign on the end that said, "Enjoy your stay." I killed about 20 people with that ride and laughed my ass off as they each went one by one to their graves.
Oh, those people lost their lives. I'm so
Those
sad.
real people
Those
lost their real
real
lives.
roller coaster people. I can't stop it. I'm sorry. I know that y'all paid for me to stop, but like it's gonna keep happening.
They haven't come out with the vampirism vaccine,
Yeah.
so it's just going to kind of keep coming in. Fast forward a few weeks, and I was in Busch Gardens on vacation. I was wandering around trying to decide what to ride. That's when I noticed a ride that hadn't been there the last time I visited. It was weird because it had never been advertised and there was nothing on the map about it. I figured, what the hell, and got in line. Surprisingly, the line wasn't very long. I only waited about 10 minutes to get on. It was one of those motor car rides, which is kind of weird because they already had one elsewhere in the park. Why would they open up a second one? After buckling in, I looked up ahead and froze. There was a giant skeleton up ahead, tipping a hat to me with a sign over his head. "No," I whispered. The sign read, "Mr. Bones's Wild Ride." I struggled with my restraints, but they wouldn't come off. I begged the employee controlling the ride to help and that I'd changed my mind, but he ignored me. My car started moving and I screamed in terror. Up ahead, the track stretched on for what seemed like forever. "I want to get off Mr. Bones's Wild Ride."
Oh, spooky! Spooky, spooky, spooky!
Oh, no.
Ah, my God, it's
Oh, there he
scary.
is, Mr.
It's
Bones.
Mr. Bones.
Look at
He's
him.
here. There he
That
goes.
was too wild a ride for me. I'm petrified. Now, goodbye. Who said he could get off our ride?
It's Mr. Bones. He gets off his own rides. I I don't know where he went. By all rights, he should have gone behind the bookcase, but here we are.
It's fine. He went to the secondary spookatorium
Oh, to take a righteous ghost dump?
to take a spooky piss.
Okay, what do you got for me?
All right, let's see. Should I counter that with a terrible story from mine own? All right, yeah, let's do it. Read Dead Bart for me, please.
Dead Bart? Okay.
Read Dead Bart for me, please.
Oh, we have two hydrations, so let's...
Good. There's going to be a lot of hydrating this
Yeah,
game
yeah.
because I'm going to be putting lots of words out.
Three
Oh
hydrates.
no, Jax!
Mhm.
Jax, there's a scary ghost in my apartment. My bread has been thrown onto the ground.
Oh, what? How? Four hydrates.
I walked over to get some tea, and the loaf of bread was on the fucking ground.
Oh, spooky! Hey, Lily! Welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Who did a big Dracula onto my bread? Okay,
Oh my
I'm
God.
back and hydrated.
Okay, Chrissy has redeemed hydrate twice.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, I'm fully tumescent on gamer fluid. Wait, no, it's storyteller fluid. Oh.
Man, that's a good point. We probably should have gone through and content warned all of these suckers. Ah, beans.
I tried to pick out ones that weren't gonna have a lot of like
Hello, Chrissy.
really upsetting themes.
Yeah, we've avoided ones that are like cheap shock and stuff like that. So pretty much what you're in for is gore and bad story. Okay, so this is Dead Bart by the zeitgeist of the creepypasta wiki, I guess. Dead Bart. You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what had been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who is present results in them getting very angry and forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt.
More like Matt groaning.
Oh, spooky! I first heard of it. Wait, nope. It's so hard! I can't quit you!
I almost sprayed tea out of my nose.
Oh no! I first heard of it at an event where David Silverman was speaking. Someone in the crowd asked about the episode, and Silverman simply left the stage, ending the presentation hours early. The episode. He was planning to stand on stage for fucking hours talking about Simpson? Just about Simpson.
Probably. He probably does it all the time.
Has David Silverman ever done anything other than The Simpsons?
I don't even know who that is.
He's a writer on The Simpsons? Where's my confused face? The episode's production number was 7G06. The title was Dead Bart.
The scariest number.
The episode labeled 7G06, Moaning Lisa, was made later and given Dead Bart's production code to hide the latter's experience. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can do to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I had followed him, probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the lost episode, though, all colour drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me to never mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser.
It's Lemon Party.
Story just fucking ends with the kid getting just righteously trolled by Matt Groening.
Oh, Matt, you card. Got me again, Matt.
Oh. And I came to a site that was completely black, except for a line of yellow text, a download link. Oh, bad web design. This is truly the spookiest. Hey! Hey, who's linking Tub Girl? Who's linking Tub Girl?
Hey, stop.
Don't you
We're
dare!
in the spooky library. We're not in the bathroom. You can't link to that.
Happy birthday. Wait, no. Thank you, Squeak.
Happy birthday to you too, Squeak.
I'm so scared about my cognitive bad. Okay, where was I?
I don't know. Why are you a vampire again?
It keeps coming back every time I break my concentration.
It's almost like that's your normal state of being.
I know, it's kind of spooky.
And you've been hiding it from us this whole time.
Thank you, Carmela. Thank you, Squeak. Look, sometimes I just read what's in chat without filtering it, which is not a good thing to tell people about. Oh, Transylvania.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Okay. I entered the address into my spooky browser and came to a spooky site that was completely black, except for a line of spooky yellow text, a download link. I clicked on it and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I'd ever seen. System restore didn't work, the entire computer had to be rebooted, it deleted system32.exe. Before doing this,
Man,
though,
you card.
I, co- I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and, as I had suspected, there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but it had very poor animation quality, which I guess that tracks. Like, the early Simpsons episode looked kind of funky, like that season 1 crunch.
Mm-hmm. Hell, kind of this melted Velveeta people.
If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way that the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angrier, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was fooling around, as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. I feel that 50 feet off the ground is not enough for that, right?
Yeah, no,
Like
it's
that.
wicked not. It
Yeah.
would be enough to make a Bart beef it,
I mean,
but
yeah, but
it wouldn't be enough to suck him out of the plane.
to be fair, it's like it's a cartoon, but at the same time, 50 feet off the ground is not a lot. Make a Bart beef it. Maddie likes that.
Man, Lisa eats faces.
Oh no!
Mm, scary.
Uh, At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of the Simpsons world represented life, and that death turned things more realistic. What? This was used in the episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. Act 1 ended with a shot of Bart's corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at their table crying. The crying went on and on. It got more pained and sounded more realistic, better acting than you would think possible from Dan Castellaneta and Nancy Cartwright and whoever the fuck else. Wait, no,
And all
Nancy
their
Cartwright
friends.
is Bart, huh?
Nancy Bart, right?
Nancy Cartwright.
I'm sure she's never heard that before.
It's gotta be fully original. She's too busy hawking Scientology.
Is she really?
Oh yeah, she's a
Oh
big
dear.
Scientologist. Like for
Oh
for a
dear.
bit there, she would fucking call. Well, she lent her voice to like a robocall that was going around where it would just be the Bart voice, going, "Hey man, what's up?" And then it would, then she would go into her own voice and like start plugging for Scientology, which is just
That's fucked up.
fucking bananas. Where was I?
Eat my thetans.
The animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. The characters could barely be made out. They were stretching and blurring. They looked like deformed shadows with random bright colors thrown on. It is absolutely.
Trying to provide Foley work.
I enjoyed it. I was just momentarily distracted. It is not an old school creepypasta without hyper realism.
Absolutely.
There were faces looking in the window, flashing in and out, so you're never sure what they looked like. The crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was now completely deserted, and as they walked the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just lying in front of his tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells a joke at this part, but it isn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstone in the background had the name of every Simpsons guest star on them. Some that no one had heard of in 1989, some that hadn't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. For guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison, the dates were when they would die. The credits were completely silent and seemed handwritten. The final image was the Simpson family on their couch, like in the intros, but all drawn in hyper-realistic, lifeless style of Bart's corpse. The thought occurred to me after seeing the episode for the first time. You could try to use the tombstone to predict the death of living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about most of the ones who haven't died yet. All of their deaths are listed as the same date.
Ooh.
Ooh, scary!
Scary.
And then Homer let out a hyper-realistic fart. Fart with reverb.wav.
Oh, oh, hey, babe.
Smithers, hand me my hyper-realism goggles. My god.
Realism at this time of the year, at this time of the day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen. May I see it?
No.
Why, it's horrifying, Seymour.
Yes.
The blood and the eyes are so real looking.
I fucking... The thing about this story is that I have seen this story told way better in far fewer words on Twitter, which is just like it SCP whatever is a Simpsons box set where Homer chokes Bart for the first time and succeeds in killing him, and every other episode is the same except Bart is just a empty hole on the couch.
Ah.
She's like, okay, yeah, that's still dumb, but like a lot of these lost episodes things are just like so much has to happen in animation for this shit to get made. It's just like maybe my disbelief suspenders are broken. Maybe I've busted out them, but like it's a bad episode as well. Like fucking bad episode of The Simpsons. Maybe better than modern Simpsons.
Maybe at least it's got that surrealist sort of
Yeah,
feel. Well,
definitely
I mean,
a good French art house film though.
it was Matt did the whole thing, right? He was like possessed by I don't know, like the angel of death or whatever.
Oh, he got a
This
fucking
is the
Dwarf Fortress
product.
Strange mood. That's it.
Yeah, this is his legendary
Now's
episode of Simpsons
your
menacing with spikes of sprinkles.
Fuck me. I'm glad that we went to the same joke. Now's your chance to be a dead Bart.
Oh no, I don't want to be a dead Bart.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Dead Bart deleted. Let's see. How about we give you a short one next? Or do you want a longer one?
We could bust out one of the longer ones.
Okay. How about My Perfect World Shattered? And now I understand the joke of Bart. Dead. He's dead. The joke of... he's so dead.
He's so dead is the thing, and it's so funny about it. Okay. This is My Perfect World Shattered, also ostensibly written by a person.
Mm-hmm.
Or is this also Lovecraftian, just always has been?
I think it always has been and always will be. Oh, Unnatural 20 submits a very short horror story.
Oh, okay. For sale, baby. She's very haunted.
Fucking great.
For sale, ghost shoes.
Do you think Matt Groening will use real metal hooks on Bart's desiccated body in the next season?
Oh,
you know, it's
real metal hooks?
Yeah, it's time that The Simpsons got mixed media again. So, like, fucking claymation Bart with real metal hooks. Or, like,
Clark.
Or, like, maybe they just, like, clone Bart. Like, they take the DNA of the animation cells and they make a Bart.
Oh, they think, the DNA from his animation cells. I get it.
CGI hooks, that's a shame. Practical effects are always way better.
No.
Theory. Dead Bart is the prequel to Mandor Hand Hook Cardor.
It might well be.
I'm gonna let you expand on that. Oh, Bart, couch, hand hook, couch, Bart.
Don't couch your Barts, everybody. It's
Okay.
dangerous. All right. My perfect world shattered. Day 0. It's only a few weeks since I left the mainland. Good riddance. It's been years since I got my doctorate. I was trying to follow in my grandfather's footsteps, becoming a scientist to try and better the world. In the mainland, however, I'd unfortunately experienced nothing but setbacks in concern to my peers and my government. Using the knowledge I'd gained through the years of studying engineering and robotics, I built my own craft in secret. I crafted my own craft in secret.
In secret.
It's taken a while, but I finally completed it. I set out today from the main continent toward one of the larger uninhabited islands far from my home nation. I've had my fill of my corrupt, unjust government and what they call progress. After all, this is the same government that allowed my favorite cousin to die years prior when she fell ill to a terminal disease. This was the same government who jailed my grandfather, then in their employ, for attempting to find a cure for her fatal
Is
ailment.
that how that word's said?
Employ, 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 employ.
Yeah. I like employ.
Employ. It had some gravitas to it, I guess. Or is it gravitas? I'd always sought to use my gifts to better humanity, yet I knew, as I grew older, that the culture of the mainland would not allow me to. It was because of this that I've set out, far away to an unclaimed chunk of land, in an attempt to pioneer my own nation. I hope to create a land where corruption and sadness are non-existent. I know this is not completely possible, but I must
Oh,
try.
he's gonna try and create Reddit Island.
Redditopia. Barf.
Hey,
By morning,
which society would collapse faster?
Ugh.
Tumblr Island circa 2012 or Reddit Island?
I feel like they would both all tear each other to pieces, but for subtly different reasons.
Lily has the right of it. Lily says yes, so just
Yeah,
go.
pretty much. Day 1. I set forth to explore the island. There are no people here, but there is a great myriad of wildlife. The animals seem to be dwarf variations of those I'd find on the mainland. Hey, that's usually true of islands because when you've got smaller land masses, you've got fewer resources, and you tend towards creating smaller creatures when they settle there.
I mean, true, but isn't there also island gigantism?
Boy, that island gigantic. I don't know. Is there?
I think so. Like,
Could be.
there's fucking island dwarfism and island gigantism. I'm sure.
Well, those islands need to fucking make up their minds then.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell? I think if you've got both, you really don't have either. It's just a thing that happens.
Am I island gigantic? I mean, I guess yeah. I did outcompete everyone else in my evolutionary niche and get real big.
Interesting. I like this. I approve. Most of them, even those that are considered feral and territorial, such as bears and walruses and walrus bears,
And
have proven friendly
walruses.
and walruses have proven friendly and sociable towards me. I must take care to protect them and preserve a safe environment for them as I build my new country. Things of such a good nature should be protected, after all. During my survey of the island, I came across the ruins of an old, extinct culture. Apparently, it had inhabited the island before, yet there was no trace of its people. At the core of the structure, I found a group of relics atop pedestals. Afraid to disturb them, I ran a test to determine their composition, in hopes that they might have given me some clues as to the culture that was here before. The relics seemed to be emitting a large amount of energy. The machine would easily be able to harness it as a power source. Fearful that should I been followed by my government, they would fall into the wrong hands, I removed the 6 of them from the ruins. In doing so, I accidentally reactivated the structure's archaic security system, a series of traps that rely on lava flow running underneath the ground for both its power source and firepower. The natives obviously realized the power of these relics, as they wanted them protected as well. I'll have to disable it later after I put things in order. Now, in order to build my country, I must keep these animals safe as well as the relics. This is becoming more troublesome than I initially imagined, what with the needing to have food secured for myself and
Apparently.
everything.
Yeah,
Whatever.
hasn't really dealt with that part, has he?
I feel I will persevere. Every problem has a solution, after all. I need to wet my whistle. Tomorrow I will begin construction.
Tumblr
I
Island will
began.
be given a trade embargo on pornography by the UN. Oh my god.
Oh no, it would just tear itself to shreds.
Reddit Island would assimilate the smaller nations of Dig Island and the Stumble Upon Archipelago. Yeah,
Mhm.
kinda.
Oh my
Man,
god, I remember Stumble
I was
Upon.
just gonna say that, yeah.
I hadn't thought about that in like a decade.
Yeah, I think it's still around.
Probably is.
Mhm.
Day 2. I began construction today. In order to keep the animals out of harm's way, I've developed numerous suspended animation systems. The initial model was a capsule structure designed to house numerous animals at once, though the number was still limited. After all, I didn't want them slumbering in a cramped space where they could be unintentionally injured while they were unconscious. What weird priorities this fella
I know,
has.
I know.
After filling up the few models I had, I discovered there was a slight overflow of the population. Not wanting them to be injured by the robots I'd built to help with construction, I had to engineer some way to house this overflow. I created portable suspended animation capsules and added them to the internal workings of my worker bots. This will house the overflow and keep them safe. The animals will be completely unconscious the entire time, so when matters are put in order, they'll wake up as if they've just been asleep for the night. This is one issue out of the way. As for the relics, I've placed them in secure locations throughout the island. Each of them is hidden in a virtual reality simulation station that I've engineered as a barrier. The unearthly physics and constantly changing gravity in the program would make it impossible to retrieve the relics inside. Since I'm the only one with access to disable the program, I'm the only one who can get to them. They'll be safe for now. I can move onward with building my nation.
How do you hide something in virtual reality?
You don't worry about it.
Okay, fair.
I guess the same way you make Pokeballs for your robots to capture your sheep so that they don't have to sleep in a pasture, God forbid.
I guess.
I forgot fences were real, so I had to create suspended animation capsules for all of my livestock.
Oh, is that what you were doing in Vintage Story last night?
Exactly.
Is this
Day.
Heisenberg's backstory? I think it might be Heisenberg's
Mm,
backstory. It's
It's
like,
uncertain, but
Jesse, we've got to capture animals.
I've established my base of operations at the center of the island. It's a bit bare bones at the moment, but setting up the rest of the island first is more important. The robots have made construction go along much faster. I've already set up a city and a highway. At least I have my nation's capital completed.
In
I
17
came.
days, god dang.
I know. I came across a series of buried ruins and an underground lake while building both. I built over it while taking care not to completely destroy the structure. I sent several of my robots down into the ruins to investigate. Hopefully, they'll return with valuable data about the island's original people. I made the decision to preserve the island's coast as it is. It was too difficult for me to sully such natural beauty. I sent a few of my robots there to monitor the area and keep watch for signs of any visitors. I don't want any tourists or government officials interfering with my plans, after all. I keep forgetting to disable the traps in the above ground ruins I encountered on my first day here. The days keep growing shorter, I suppose. I'll have to take care of it later. Day 18. The robots I'd stationed on the coast had alerted me to a disturbance in the early hours of the morning. The images sent back by them appeared to be of some sort of beast. It was unlike any creature I'd ever encountered. I'm certain zoologists on the mainland would have declared it a new species. Despite the intrigue the creature inspired, the reports indicated that it was attacking, and worse, destroying my robots.
It's a really
The
good
animals.
island, Jangle. That's the thing about it.
Such a good island. The animals housed in the robot's internal suspension capsules will likely die of shock from the suspended animation process being halted unexpectedly. I had to do something. I set out from the base in my craft, armed but not looking for a fight. I optimistically assumed that perhaps this animal was one I'd missed in my sweep of the island and was reacting this way out of fright. I hoped I could calm the creature upon my arrival and put him into a sleep enclosure like the others. How wrong I was. When I arrived at the coast, I spotted the creature from the air, attacking the en masse suspended animation capsule I'd made for the coastal area. I descended in my craft and called out to the creature in an attempt to reason with and or calm it. On first sight, the creature turned and lunged for my vehicle. I dodged out of the way and activated the weapons I'd installed, hoping to subdue it. Such an attempt proved futile. It was too quick to land a single hit upon, and before I knew it, it had ripped the weapons off of my craft. I had no choice but to retreat. I flew away in my craft, fearful for what chaos this monster may bring to my new home. As I departed, I turned back to see the beast destroying the capsule. Whoops. The animals I'd safely tugged away convulsed out of the wreckage, flopping about the ground below. My heart sank at the sight. I have to do something to stop this monster. If only I'd invented fences instead.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid because I know this is leading up to either being like Sonic or Pokemon or something, and I don't know which it is yet, and it's scary.
Thank you, Paula. Yeah. Ghost Bellies on Twitter did this one, and it's very, very good. We like it a lot.
It's amazing. It's so good. Day 19. The airborne drones I released have tracked the creature's route. It was crossing through the above-ground ruins upon the last report. From what I can tell, the monster is heading for the city I just recently finished building. My new country's capital is standing for 3 days, and it's already under threat of attack. What's more, it seems it found and disabled the VR security device at the coast and retrieved the relic inside. It is Sonic. God damn it.
Voice. God damn
In
it.
addition to being ferocious, it seems the creature is intelligent as well. Foolishly, I had placed a capsule on the outskirts of the ruins, thinking it was safe. I felt I must go and retrieve it before the creature can destroy it and harm the animals inside. I equipped my craft with a flamethrower, hoping this destructive beast couldn't survive the flames. When I arrived once again, it provided flufafa sibawaha yahoo baba. It proved too fast to actually land a hit. It sliced the flamethrower clean off my craft, like a knife through butter. I had to flee again. I'll have to block its progress at the city itself, I'm afraid. Let's just hope my plan works. Day 20.
Cora, thank you for the 10 bits and the... God damn it!
Now, if I could do a Robotnik voice for the rest of this. The additional security I added to the city failed to keep the creature out. Most every robot stationed there has been destroyed. My attempt to personally assault the creature failed again. I fled in hopes to find another place to head it off, and later received reports that I dived into the underground ruins. It had dived into the underground ruins even and destroyed the very robot I put down there. I attempted to dam up a portion of the underground lake to flood the ruins and drown the monster. I optimistically thought I could quell it this way, but the attempt failed. I suspect the creature may have increased lung capacity, as it later escaped the ruins after they'd been completely flooded. It seems bent on destroying every piece of technology I've placed on the island. Less than an hour later, it was attacking the robots I'd left monitoring the highway. God, this is going to be a long stream. I attempted to head it off yet again, but I failed. Nothing I do, no weapon I try will stop this beast. I retreated to my base. My robots outside the base have all been destroyed. The beast has also managed to find and disable each of the VR systems. Now it has all of the relics in its claws. It's planning something. All I know is that it wants me gone.
Oh, he's not going to get away with this!
I can't believe it.
No
Day
way.
21. No way. I haven't slept. The creature... Did I wake you up somehow? I'm sorry.
Ah, creatures of the night. Such music they make.
What's up, my little boy? You want to come up and read some scary stories with us? Day 21. I haven't slept. The creature breached the front gates of the base at the brink of dawn. Every robot and machine in its path had been brutally destroyed. I got desperate and opened up a trap door in a set of ruins I'd built the base on. I managed to plunge the demon down into it and seal it off, while hiding myself behind a force field. I thought I was safe at that point, as there seemed to be no sign of it returning. To cool my head, I retreated to my lab to try to work on a large-scale hydraulic press I'd been working on to help me better manufacture my robots. It was then that the creature emerged from the floor and attacked the machine. Apparently, there was no killing it. It totaled the machine before I could blink. I fled the lab and made my way down the corridor to the launch hatch for the craft I'd flown to the island. I could see it. I could see the beast in hot pursuit. I managed to jump into the craft and lift it off in time, flying off from the cliff overlooking the island below. I thought I was in the clear, but then it felt as if something had struck the back of the craft. The machinery sparked and burst into flames. I turned my head to look back at the launch hatch, and I saw the beast standing there, grinning in a grotesque satisfaction that had ensured it my demise. As I plummeted to the rocks below in a cloak of flames, I assured myself that I would survive. I would bring this world a utopia, even if it killed me. It was then, for the first time in my life, that I felt contempt for another living thing. This beast, for no reason, had destroyed all my hard work and risked the lives of those innocent creatures. It had more than earned my hatred. As sure as my name is Dr. Ivo Robotnik, I hate that hedgehog.
Yay!
Damn it,
Yay!
son of a bitch motherfucker.
I had I had really fucking hoped that you wouldn't twig until the very, very end. I had really hoped because like fucking the end of it is just
No way. I can't believe this.
so when did you realize?
It was there. I knew something was up early on. I knew it was going to be something. I don't know. I think I was thinking back at the like the station, the little eggs full of robot bunnies that had broken open,
Mhm.
and it just twigged.
Oh. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That one in our document was tagged with "What a twist."
What a twist.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna get you back with that then.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
like that I'm offering stories at you, and
Uh-huh.
I would like you to read Close Encounter with a Tails Doll.
Oh boy. Ooh, Nelly. Do I put the art for this up? Yeah, why not? It can just chill out in the fireplace. There we go.
Sure, where it belongs.
Okay, once again, this is written by just
A human being,
who knows.
ostensibly.
Oh, this is actually in creepypasta-nighttime.fandom.com. So it's
Oh,
different
I didn't
from
even
the
notice
regular
that.
creepypasta
This is a
wiki.
special one.
That throws a handful of stories set into the fire.
Submitted for the Midnight Society. A
Submitted
Close
for
Encounter with the Tails Doll.
submitted for the approval of y'all in chat, who should follow us if you're not. um, a
Society.
close encounter with the Tails doll. One late afternoon, I invited some of my friends to play Sonic R. As we turned on the Sega Saturn, we were excited for our racing tournament. As we were at the character select screen, I chose the Tails doll for humor. Oh,
Gasp.
a funny little joke, you see. Most of my friends were laughing as they chose Metal Sonic, Metal Knuckles, Mecha Eggman. Wait, hang on, is that a thing in Sonic R? Anyway,
I don't
Mecha
know. I guess it's
Eggman
good as
and Super Sonic.
Super Metal Mecha Sonic Man Egg Knuckle.
Later, I won all the races since I was an expert at this game. We realized time flew by as my friends left. I love that it's like not enough to be just we were gonna play some games. It's like, and I won because I'm really good at video games, y'all.
Because I'm the best. I'm the video gamer.
I still felt like playing video games, so I inserted my Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing disc into my PlayStation 3. Me and my friends played a few races online, and a message popped up to my screen coming from a user called Tails Doll. I opened it and it said, "Thank you." For what? I sent him a message back to this user. I'm going to try and leave in as many of the typographical errors as possible because they had to
I
it.
think you ought to, yeah.
Tails doll then sent another message saying, "You won first place with the Tails doll. I was watching you." You should probably do a Tails voice for that. I got freaked out for a second, thinking someone was watching over us as we were playing Sonic R. Another message from Tails doll saying, "Can you feel the sunshine?" And sent me a friend request, but I didn't accept it because I don't even know who this guy is. I mean, seriously. I sent all my friends a message saying, Did you see anybody watching us? Because I got sent a message from a user called Tails Doll saying he watched me win first place with the Tails Doll. My friends sent back messages saying they don't know and with an O, which I believe is pronounced O. I searched Tails Doll's profile, but it said the profile doesn't exist. I immediately turned off the PlayStation 3 and used my laptop to go to the PSN forums, the spookiest site on the internet.
No, Lightning Foley.
I made a thread about my message encounter with the
Close Encounters of the Messaged Kind.
Which kind is that? Like, there's the first kind, a bunch of different kinds of encounters. Is a message kind one of those? Oh, jeez. Made a thread about my message encounter with the Tails doll. Users were replying they also reported getting messages after playing Sonic R with Tails doll. An administrator deleted the thread, calling it nonsense. It was 10 p.m, so I went to the bedroom, capital B, turned off the lights and slept.
This is nonsense. I don't believe it.
Not just any bedroom, the bedroom, you know, the one we're all thinking about.
The one from which all other bedrooms are fashioned.
Proper noun bedroom. When I woke up the next
Close
morning...
Encounters of the PS Third Kind.
Oh my
That's
fucking
beautiful.
god, that's very good. When I woke up the next morning, I found a little paper saying, "Dear Richard, I'm going to kill your friends to show them that they are fools. Sincerely, the doll."
Oh no!
I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her so much.
Miss my wife, Tails.
There was a little blood stain where the doll was red. I freaked out and threw it in the trash and had a 1,000-mile stare until I got to school. I ran inside the ass room and screamed to my friends that they will be killed. The teachers thought that I was the class clown, and I punished me with lunch detention for today.
Not lunch detention.
I punished me. What? What the? What is this
ahead.
fucking?
Stop ahead. Just read.
Okay. I think I need to upgrade the snootiness of this voice.
Yes, that would help.
You may what, Cora? Before heading to detention, I made sure to head to Priceless Moments so I could take a fat shit.
Oh.
I am going to read those, Cora. We are going to read those. Don't you fucking worry. Don't you worry. At lunch detention, one of my peers said they heard of the Tails doll after I told them my encounter with them. Oh my god! They took a spooky dookie!
Oh no, a spooky dookie.
What made me get chills in my spine is that he told me I'm the Tails doll's vessel, meaning that I pleased the Tails doll by playing as him in Sonic R. The moment after he said that, the fire alarm rang and we evacuated the school. Smoke was coming from the 3rd floor, and it was a real fire. It was coming from my classroom. I came home early due to the fire. I told my parents about the fire, but not the Tails doll. My father told me that my uncle and my cousins are coming. Luckily, my uncle was a retired veteran, so I might have some protection from the Tails doll for now. A few hours later, I told my cousins the entire story, and they didn't believe me, saying that it was a good, scary story, but this is reality. I like in-universe acknowledgement that this is a good, scary story.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah, this is really good. You should like post this on the internet or
Mhm.
something.
Suddenly, my cell phone was ringing, and it was my friend saying he was having a party. I got permission.
Can you see? The sun is shining on me. It makes me feel so free, so alive. It makes me want to survive in the sky. It makes me feel so high that bad times pass me by because today is gonna be a brighter day. Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your?
I feel like Carmela put the entire lyrics for Can You Feel the Sunshine? Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day? And thank you for the 169 tip. Anyway, where were we? I got permission from my parents and I headed off to my friend's house. Oh, is the TTS voice doubled? Oh, beans.
Cool.
Uh,
TTS voice is a scary Cerberus. We have to hydrate.
Oh god, I need to figure this out. Oh no.
Oh, figure it out and hydrate.
Ah, Sipperoni.
Yeah, the TTS is super double dum 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 dum.
Okay, did it stop being doubled partway through there? I hope it stopped being doubled. Oh, I see. Right, yeah, that tracks. Hang on.
Oh, it's coming through two scenes at once.
Yeah, yep. God. Sorry, chat.
Oh no.
Okay, shutdown source when not visible is set. Oh, I wonder. Okay, hang on. Sorry, chat. Technical difficulties. Let me just.
Beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. She's in her big scary laboratorium, and she's pulling a bunch of big switches, and there's arcs of lightning, and glass bottles are exploding, and
I was working on the ass late one night. Okay, let me.
I'm on the table there trying to get some sleep, but I can't because of everything that's going around, and it's making me very cross.
This is a test donation for $79.
Okay,
What?
was that doubled or was that good? Still doubled.
Oh.
I don't know how that's being doubled. That's fucking weird. I don't get it.
The first two were fine, the last one doubled.
Maybe this? Let's try this. Okay.
Get ready to.
This is a test donation for $92.
Wow. Mystery John, you're such a generous donator.
How about
Your real
now?
money.
The Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother.
Still
Laundered through.
How is it still double? I don't get it. Like, it shouldn't be. Do I have 2 alert boxes? Is that the problem? No, I don't. I don't get it. It shouldn't be doubled. Like, it's...
Maybe just spooky reverb.
Maybe.
Do we just call it spooky reverb?
I don't know how it's being doubled. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Because, like, it's not in any of the other... My TTS is haunted!
Ah. Is it like picking up through your speakers again or something?
It shouldn't be, because it's set up so that... Oh, hang on. Control audio via OBS. Let's try that. I smoke ass hair has just followed. Well...
Ah. Hmm.
That's your username. That's really something. This creepypasta is called The Tale of the Girl Who Couldn't Fucking Figure Out Her Alert Boxes. Woo!
Ooh, the night of the living alerts.
Important question. Did you ever smoke ass hair? I have not tried it. Is it good? I don't think it's good, probably.
No, it's probably not.
Christ. Okay, this is not working. Sorry, chat. Oh, this
I can't
sucks.
believe this.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to... You know what? We're gonna have to just disable our alert box for now. And, if anyone donates or whatever, I will just read the fucking donation.
But, Jax,
Uh-huh.
the alert box has been dead for 12 years.
Oh my god! I don't fucking get this. Okay, no, this is stream death right here.
Yeah,
let's just get rid of that.
Let it be.
There we go. Okay, so I don't know if there's still like donation voices coming through. If there are, that's freaky.
That would be scary.
Okay. I ran a couple of test donations, but... Okay. Where the hell were we? We've completely lost the thread.
You took a fat shit in preparation for
Oh,
lunch detention.
God.
I believe.
Hi, she strikes. Oh, God. What's a bad time to mention, Carmela? Please tell me what's a bad time to mention.
Uh-huh.
I'm very scared now. What have I fucked up real bad?
What have you done?
Carmela, you can't just say that and not... Oh, you're both good girls. Okay, thank you. Unnatural
Thank
20 has cheered with 10 bits. Freak Deaky. Wait, hang on. I need to do the TTS voice. Freak Deaky. There we are.
Freak Deaky.
Okay, where were we? Right.
Fat shit.
We got past that! Suddenly, my cell phone was ringing. It was my friend saying he was having a party. I got permission from my parents and headed off to my friend's house. As I got there, we had a great time fooling around, eating like hell, and watching fights of drunk men. After a while, a doorbell rang. The music was so loud we couldn't hear it, so the doorbell rang continuously until I noticed the sounds and opened it. It was my older brother, and he joined the party. Oh, Jess donates 100 bits. Thank you, Jess. I don't care if the pasta is creepy. You just need a good Alfredo sauce, and I'll eat it.
Alfredo sauce on the star.
Oh, shut up! Alfredo sauce. Family and I turned on the World Star channel. I had a sleepover at my friend's house since it was too late to go home. I woke up at 5 a.m. that morning and found a doll that looks like the Tails doll from Sonic R.
Oh no.
I feel like it constantly specifies the Tails doll from Sonic R.
Sonic R.
Since I find no interest in dolls, I gave it to my little sister when I got home. My dude, I did just say Alfredo sus. Yes. My dude. You're being haunted by this fucking Tails doll and had threats. Don't you even fucking think.
There's like no connection in this idiot's brain.
Yeah, if I saw a doll that looked like Tails doll from Sonic R, I would pog as well.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on, mini creepypasta. I go to the pasta shop and I ask if it's creepy or wet. They're confused. They say, it's good pasta, haha. It was wet.
No.
Okay, since I find no interest in dolls, I gave it to my little sister when I got home. My guard was down, thinking that the doll conspiracy was finally over. I read my dad's newspaper and I jumped out of my chair when I saw the headlines. It said, "Fire started in Eisenhower Middle School by unknown entity, 3 injured." This unknown entity sounded like the Tails doll and I became paranoid once again. I decided to be a temporary paper boy to end my boredom after breakfast.
As you do.
It's just
As you do.
just a fucking thing that you do.
Mm-hmm. Temporary paperboy.
Temporary paper boy. And love it when the newspapers talk about unknown entities. And like, also, this kid knew that the fire happened. He was there when the fire started and got sent home from school. And it's like 3 injured. It's like, why is this a big scare, a big spook? An hour later, all the papers were delivered. Man, is this...
Wow.
This is what boomers think that getting a job is like. This kid just decided after breakfast to go and become a paper boy, and he
In the
did.
job fair, he just dumped a bunch of newspapers onto his bicycle.
An hour later, all the papers were delivered, and the days after were quite casual with no school. As I checked the mailbox for letters from my classmates, I stumbled upon a yellow envelope, which is quite unusual. I ripped it open with curiosity, and it was from Your Secret Killer. It read, "My dear friend, I know where you live. I will not kill your friends, but burn their houses instead for even more suffering. Will you play with me?" I ran to the nearest trash can and threw it away, and I attempted to clear my mind. Do I
Like,
look
no,
like...
I'm not going to play with you. You didn't kill my friends, but you burned their houses down
No,
instead
fuck.
for even more suffering. Why would I play with you?
Do I look like I know what a pog champ is? I just want a picture of a goddamn Gutex. Ugh. Late that night, several fire trucks came to several houses, and several fire trucks for several houses, dang. And I realized that the letter was actually telling the truth for once. School reopened the next day, and what happened last night made it to Fox News that morning. Okay. As I entered the classroom when I came to school, everyone was paranoid just like me. When school was over, as I walked home, I found a paper saying, "I will see you, Richard," on the sidewalk. Then, I believed this Tails doll was actually real. I ran as fast as I can. When I stopped, I saw fresh blood dripping down a storm drain. I suddenly became sick and disgusted by this horrific sight. As in, website. I ran even faster and was inside my home, and I locked the door tight. Something was poking on me, and... Something was Pokemon me, and so I turned around. Nothing was there. I ran upstairs to my room. The door locked for no reason. Nothing was inside. The lights went out for no reason. I heard loud footsteps coming up the stairs for no reason. A red light appeared. The lights turned on. It was the Tails doll! It told me in a demonic voice, "I will show you the error of your ways, ha!"
Oh, it's Mickey. You're here too now, huh? Hey, by the way, the Gatekeeper's raiding with a party of 3.
Holy shit, Gatekeeper, thank you for the raid. Hell yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, folks, from Gatekeeper's stream. Fuck yes. This is
successful debut.
This is got a Scream Team.
Welcome to the Spookatorium.
I wonder if I can get the thunder sound effect back. There we go. Good. little treat. Can I have a little thunderclap as a treat?
Sure.
We're doing Oh, sweet. Oh, I've got to check out your VTuber later. That sounds rad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're... Oh no, is the... Is it a bit loud? Ah, beans.
Uh-oh.
Um, but yeah, we're doing spooky stories today because it's my birthday. Um,
The scariest day.
the scariest of days. Oh, Team Skullbend, thank you for the follow. Hell yeah.
All right.
We've had to kind of switch off our alert box because it was doubled up and I couldn't fucking troubleshoot it on stream. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. Anyway, back to this bad story that we all love.
Bad story for assholes.
Bad story for good people. There we are. It told me in a demonic voice, "I will show you the error of your ways, huh?" It took out a knife, but turned around and floated outside. I closed my eyes in horror as it was killing innocent people. It came back saying, "Are you happy? No, you can feel the sunshine, huh?" It got a huge machete and was ready to kill me as well. I locked the door and dropped down from the window. With luck, I landed on the ground. I mean, with gravity. With gravity, you landed on the ground.
Gravity and luck, they're two sides of the same coin.
No?
Sure.
Okay. The Tails doll was furiously slashing. With unluck, I flew into the sky. Fuck me. The Tails doll was furiously slashing at the door. A piece of the door flew out the window at... The doll's dark eyes were glaring at me. It threw the knife, and it almost hit me. It found a chainsaw and told me it was doing a sacrifice.
I'm gonna do a sacrifice at you.
This is a special tool that will help us later. I jumped through numerous fences, Kool-Aid Man style, but it was too fast. It has a slight cut from the chainsaw. Dripping with blood, I ran through an alley. I guess the author got... I guess the author's pronouns are it/its. That's cool.
Cool.
I ran through an alley and floated straight toward... I ran through an alley and floated straight toward trying to slice me in two. Before it was going to kill me, I found a wooden cross and shoved it in front of him. He burned like it was a bomb and exploded. I limped back my way back home with the chainsaw and told my siblings an unbelievable story.
Hope you're ready for an unbelievable story. Miles Tails Power is weak to Jesus.
That's Close Encounter with a Tails doll, everyone. Holy shit. Ah, Paula, thank you for the 100 bits and thank you for the birthday wishes. Oh my god, that's more than 100 bits. The 400
Yay!
bits. Hell yeah.
400 bits.
Oh, and Jangle, thank you for the follow. That was a wild ass fucking story.
I like that we both managed to pick out shitty Sonic stories for the other to read.
Ah, Super Nintendo Chalmers, I hope you're ready for an unbelievable story.
Oh,
It happens to you every time you play as Tails doll in Sonic R. Oh my god.
oh.
You must have a lot of chainsaws. Just like,
Yeah.
or does it use the same chainsaw every time? Like,
upsetting a whole industry.
like, it just keeps finding chainsaws. Is it the same chainsaw? Or okay, you get used to it and start preparing. Okay, neat. Okay, let's see. I think it might actually be time for one of Cora's stories.
A horror story.
A horror story. Millennials killing the chainsaw industry. I mean, Leatherface is a boomer. That's the kind of article he might write.
That's
Okay.
fair.
How about you read The Tale of the Ben Lomond Hotel?
Okay. Then I'll do this.
So I think content warning this one for suicide.
Exciting. All right. The Tale of the Ben Lomond Hotel. People think that Utah is all Mormons, with their picture-perfect smiles, way too many bright teeth and children in their smiles. Not so for Ogden, Utah. Not so in the least. Gather round and hear me tell the story of the Ben Lomond Hotel. It was
Wow.
first called the Reed, a 5-story hotel in 1891 on the southeast corner of Washington Boulevard and 25th Street. And finally, in 1927, it grew by another 11 stories and became fireproof. But as it was reopened in the midst of the Prohibition, and right above the rum tunnels that run under 25th Street and up to the mountain, the hotel attracted many a seedy and nasty customer. No one is for sure who can say how many people died there, but I do know that Al Capone wouldn't want to be caught dead in Ogden without protection. But the most famous story, the most recurring and terrifying one, is of room 1102. A couple on their honeymoon without a care in the world, and light on the funds, came to rest at the Ben Lomond. The official reports read that the woman drowned. No notes about altercations, pain, or suffering. But if you were to ask the folks below, I bet you dollars to donuts they'd have heard something. But the news of the woman's death came to her son from another marriage. Distraught but dutiful, he came to the hotel to collect her things and ask about the incident. The staff had some sympathy for the lad and let him stay in room 1101. Oh, spooky boofers.
Oh, can we get some boofs in the chat?
The staff had some sympathy for the lad and let him stay in room 1101, where, in his despair, he took his life to be with his mom. Now, I myself make it known that I don't stay in the Ben Lomond after sundown, but my pa, see, he worked as a night staffer, and he told me always to avoid 1102 and 1101, for both of their ghosts still haunt there, howling muffled by water, and the other crying for his mama. No one ever seems to use that floor, now that I think on it. Maybe you should brave it yourself, though.
That was pretty creepy. That was actually genuinely kind of creepy. So that one came to us from a resident poet and storyteller, Cora. Oh, Jesus, I just realized the Tails doll's still just kind of chilling in the fireplace.
And also, there was a Tails doll there the whole time.
Let's get rid of that. There we are. Just winked out of existence. Oh. So thank you for that one, Cora. We've got another one from Cora later, and we'll read that one. Oh my god, Water earlier said, the Mobius Tails doll massacre, which is very good.
Oh,
I've heard that Utah is real, yeah.
I don't believe that though. I'm not superstitious like that. Now, Boof, on the other hand,
Oh my God.
Get the hell off of the table! What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Satisfaction. I will have satisfaction, Mama.
Aren't we all looking for the same thing in the end, Boofus? Do you think it's gonna be on the dining room table? Yeah, you think it is? Maybe we just didn't check there, huh? You little nerd.
Ooh, Unnatural 20 is asking if I'd be able to show a web page on stream. Yeah?
I'm also not sure that web pages are real.
I mean, the internet seems to be fake. Everyone knows the US is made up. It's true. Okay, so where are we going to next?
Should we keep on with actual spooky stories? Because I have a good actual spooky story that you can read.
Yeah, absolutely. How long is it?
This one is...
Oh, Vera, go get your food. Hell yeah.
It's a little bit longer than Tails doll, but not by much. If you would like to read, Something Went Wrong with My Heart Transplant.
Okay, I will do. Okay. Unnatural 20 is linked to the Brownsville General Hospital. Oh, that looks wild. Okay. We'll have a poke at that later, but something went wrong with my heart transplant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one is from r/no sleep, submitted by user Katrin Kiernan, rather. I've always had a weak heart. Not just physically, I've always been afraid of my own shadow. It was unsurprising when the doctors told me my heart murmur wasn't just a heart murmur. A year of tests, a year of therapy, constant trips to the hospital, and I was finally told that it had all been for nothing. My poor, weak heart wouldn't last until Christmas. It's a strange thing being told that you're dying. I didn't come to terms with it at first. I drank and I spent my money. I did reckless, stupid things because I was so damn scared. Then I got the news that a young woman called Laura had been declared brain dead, and that I, the lucky chosen one, would be getting a brand new heart a week later.
Sorry, Laura.
It's different Laura. Our Laura is very not brain dead.
It's the second Laura that's permitted to exist.
Yeah,
There can only be two.
It's the only other Laura in existence.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess not anymore. Now it is just Laura. What with the brain death and all.
I mean, it's just, well, they're not doing a brain transplant, so...
Mhm.
A woman called Laura had been declared brain dead, and that I, the lucky chosen one, would be getting a brand new heart a week later. Not brand new, but gently used, I guess. I drove to the hospital slowly, carefully, and readied myself for the ordeal of what was to come. As I was laying in bed on the last night, thoughts of Laura swirled around in my head, and it wouldn't leave me alone. It was like her name was in flashing lights every time I closed my eyes. It was wrong, I know it was, but I had to see the woman who was giving me her heart. It didn't feel right not to put a face to the one who was saving my life. I knew her name, I knew what ward she was staying on, I had overheard the two nurses discussing it. I wandered down the meandering hallways until I found what I was looking for, taking my time, making sure I didn't miss any name. I guess I had time on my hands now. In the second to last room she lay in bed. A woman sat on the bed next to her, holding her hand, and my own weak heart stuttered. Excuse me. I had no idea what to say to her. I'm Jenna. I'm the person... I'm having surgery tomorrow, and... What I assumed was Laura's mother stood up, and I could tell from the look in her eye that she knew who I was. Do you mind taking Laura's mother?
Thank you for visiting. I know it's strange, but a part of her is going to be living on in you. I wanted to meet you.
I stood there, helpless and lost for words. Laura's mother beckoned me over.
Please,
She said.
don't feel uncomfortable. It's what she would have wanted.
I sat on the chair next to Laura. How did she... I broke off. It was too awful to ask. Laura's mother gave me a thin smile.
She was a care worker. Looked after battered wives, abused women. Last month she met a guy and, well, I suppose years of training can't help you when you're in love. She ignored the warning signs, and he killed her. She dedicated her life to those who needed her.
Laura's mother looked down. I don't know why I did it, but I reached over and held Laura's hand. I squeezed it. I'm so sorry. I had a boyfriend once who... He was like that too. Someone like Laura convinced me to leave. Laura's mother gave me another half smile. I could see the tears in her eyes. Then Laura squeezed my hand, tightly. She gripped me so hard that her fingernails dug into my skin. I recoiled, a look of horror on my face. Laura's mother looked at me calmly.
She squeezes my hand sometimes as well. I think the doctors called it muscle spasms. Either way, there's none of Laura left in there anymore.
I looked at the small crescent moons that had just started to bleed on the palm of my hand. The surgery went perfectly. I was wheeled to the recovery suite after it was over and done with, the raised wound on my chest covered by gauze. It was better if I didn't see it, I thought. I didn't need any more heart issues. I spent the first day doped up on the pain medication, eating only a little and sitting up maybe 2 times. It was a long process, they reassured me. Laura's mother came to visit me the day before I was due to leave. Her calm demeanour hadn't wavered, but I could see that she was suffering. She looked 10 years older, and her hands shook when she gave me a hug.
When are you going home?
Tomorrow, I told her. Please, come visit whenever you want. I started to jot down my address for her when, out of the corner of my eye, a flash of blonde disappeared through the doorway, the same brilliant blonde as Laura's hair. Ow! I cried out suddenly. It felt like someone had sharply squeezed my hand so hard it almost crushed the bones. Laura's mother rushed to my side, a look of concern in her eyes.
What's wrong? Is it your heart?
She stumbled over the last words, coming to terms with what she had said. I tried to reassure her and said I'd let the doctors know, and she left with a look of worry on her face. When I looked down, a new set of crescent fingernail marks were below the ones that Laura's had made. 10 identical bleeding smiles. The taxi ride home was short, and before I knew it, I was back in my own flat. It felt... a flat. Is this Britain? It felt... it felt strange to try not... Wait, nope, wrong accent.
What?
Let's not go for that. That's... It felt strange to try and slot back into where I'd left off. My life had been almost over the last time I had been here. I looked over the mess in the cardboard boxes, the remnants of one night where I had tried to tearfully pack and store my belongings so that my parents wouldn't have to do it when I died. Laura's heart beat so strongly it felt like it would come out of my chest. It did this all the time, and I realized this was what a healthy heart must feel like. So why couldn't I shake my feeling of unease? That night, I had a dream. Laura was in her hospital bed, but her mother was gone. I could hear my heart, Laura's heart, beating in my eardrums so loudly it was painful. I tried to cover them, but my hands were pinned to my sides. Some unexplainable force was moving me towards the motionless figure of Laura on the bed. Her lips were blue and the window had come open, whipping her blonde hair around her face. I was almost on top of her when her eyes flew open. They were milky white, the eyes of someone dead.
Get out!
She rasped, her voice guttural. I could hear the heart beat faster and faster, drumming until I thought I couldn't take it anymore. Then I woke up. The sound had been real. Laura's heart was so loud it felt like it would rupture my eardrums, and I screamed in agony, trying to cover my ears. It was useless. It was coming from some deep place inside me. I could feel it reverberating around the hollows of my chest. I stumbled out of bed, gasping for air, and tried to find my phone. I needed to call someone, anyone, an ambulance for my mom, anyone who would pick up.
Get out!
It was a faint whisper over the hammering thumps of Laura's heart, a low, guttural voice that sounded like it had been made by an animal, and I crawled to the door, down the hallway, choking on my screams for help. My neighbour opened the door, his eyes as wide as saucers at the sight of me on the floor, clutching my chest. He drove me to the hospital as I cried in the passenger seat of his car. For about 50 different checkups, the doctors told me that absolutely nothing was wrong with me. They told me my heart was regular, my blood pressure was normal, and everything was going just swimmingly. I stood in the waiting area, wallowing in my shame and frustration. That heart didn't belong to me. My phone buzzed on the counter, an unknown number. Great, that was all I needed. More unexplained scary things like a stranger on the end of a phone. My voice sounded small on the line. Hello?
Morning. This is the Thames Valley Police. We've called to report an incident that occurred in your flat around 1:30 a.m. today.
I'm so sorry. I recently had surgery and I wasn't feeling well. I had to have my neighbour drive me to the hospital. I think I panicked a little in the hallway before I left. There was a small silence on the other end of the phone.
I'm afraid this is something you might want to be sitting down for.
I felt Laura's heartbeat strong and calm.
There was an incident of forced entry by a Mr. Samuel Matthews, according to our police records. He's your ex-partner, and you filed a restraining order against him in September of 2017.
My blood ran cold. I did. He's in
He's in police
Sorry,
custody. He's in police custody. We found an automatic weapon on him, and we believe he had the intent to harm you. We have an officer currently stationed at your flat who can fill you in depending on how long your hospital stay will be.
I thanked him and hung up the phone. For a moment I leant against the wall, the horror slowly spreading upon me. If I had been in my flat 10 minutes later, he would have found me. Laura's heartbeats filled my ears again, but now they were gentle, calming. Her mother said she dedicated every part of her to helping those who needed it. I put both my hands on my chest, overwhelmed by my own gratitude, and listened to Laura. Damn, that was a good one!
Yeah, it was.
Holy shit, that was good as hell. That's very good. Yeah, so that was, again, something went wrong with my heart transplant on r/no sleep. I guess I'll just link that in the chat real quick. Oh, spooky.
Spooky. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Um. Something went right with my heart transplant. Yeah, absolutely. Subscribe for more heartbeats from Laura.
Thanks for the heartbeats, Laura.
Oh, everyone thank Laura. Okay, Cora, real talk. A lot of spooky stories are just stories to you because you grew up in Ogden. That's fair. Utah's weird. Okay, I think, a girl boss came with my heart transplant. Better title. So I think I want to get you to read a short one.
All right.
How about you read Faucet and then we'll do Horror House together.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me load this one up. So this is Faucet, written by Jordan. The Jordan. If you know a Jordan, they're the one who wrote this. You're home alone. It is a stormy night and the power went out. You hear... It's the actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf. For a second, I thought I was just going to be doing a Shatner-esque spoken word. You're home alone. It is a stormy night and the power's out. You hear strange noises coming from upstairs. Drip, drip, drip. Probably just the faucet, you think. Drip, drip, drip. There it goes again. You run up the stairs and turn the faucet completely off. You walk back downstairs and sit on the couch, waiting for the storm to pass over. Your phone loudly vibrates beside you and you receive a message from an unknown number. Drip, 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 your phone reads. Scared, you reply, "Who are you?" With no answer. You hear it again. Drip, drip, drip. You run upstairs and turn the faucet off. Then you receive another text. Drip, drip, drip. By this point, you're confused and scared. You run downstairs, curl up on the sofa in fear, and call the number. Ring, 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 it answers. Who are you, you ask? And you hear it through the phone. Drip, drip, drip. Wait. Wait.
Spooky town.
Wait, hang on.
They do got that drip though. Oh my god, this spooky Sphinx of Joseph Smith in Salt Lake. God damn.
Oh,
Hate
made
that.
out of salt. And it's just kind of in the center of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
Okay.
So was the no. Was the was it the sink on the phone? Did the sink call?
The sink was on the phone.
A sink with a really cool pair of
The
shoes?
sink got that drip though. I think this is just a parable against the internet of shit. This is someone who had hooked their sink up to a smart device.
A parable against the internet of shit. I don't know what that means, but I like it.
Put the sink on the phone. I've got things to say. Then who was Sink?
No, I do like the concept that they bought a smart sink and like the Bluetooth connection to their phone. It just like automatopoeias whatever's wrong with the sink. Like it's not smart enough to like auto-diagnose what's wrong with it or where a leak is. It just knows to make leaking water sounds.
The bad sink.
The future's here and now.
Future's here and it kind of sucks.
And it's worthless.
Okay, so we have a choose your own adventure now called Horror House. So
I choose the adventure of going to take a spooky pill.
okay, you do that. I'm gonna take a spooky sip of water. Oh, having fun. There's a lot of new faces in chat. It's wow, that's a lot actually. Rad to see everyone here, and hey, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, we'd love to have you follow. This is a bit different from what we usually do, but you know, we do variety game streaming and occasionally weird stuff like this. We're doing horror games and generally spooky games all through October. Next week we are through the week playing through Grim Fandango until it is finished. So that's exciting. Also exciting is I can see Sleet's mouth flapping, and but Sleet was pissing for 5 years. Also, we have a lot of our VODs up on YouTube, which you can check out at this link here. We have a couple of highlight videos up there, particularly a highlight video from our first Sleet versus Sonic stream, where Sleet played through Sonic the Hedgehog 1, having basically never played a Sonic game before. There's going to be 2 more parts to those highlights coming up in over the next week or 2, and the video is amazing. It's edited by Laura, currently in chat as Koboldtoon, and yeah, she made us look amazing.
I've returned.
Hell yeah. But yeah, if you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, that would be rad as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've taken a sippy, I've done some plugging to the chat, and I'm ready to go.
Good. You see, there's a secret sub game that chat can play with our streams, where the more they redeem hydrates, the less stream they actually get because of all the bathroom breaks I have to take. It's very fun.
A natural 20, be good.
Yeah, this is it says choose your next words very carefully.
Okay, so this is from r/short scary stories, another subreddit, and this one is by Do Not Disturb Please.
That is their Christian name, I believe.
Turn the terms of service into the terms of shit. Okay. You're walking.
All right, everybody, feel very free to feel very afraid.
Oh my god. Okay, so I guess I guess we should let chat decide some of these, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you're walking your dog Rufus, and you see an abandoned house. Do you explore? 7. Walk away? 4. Or let Rufus decide? 10. Enter your choice in chat now.
Dennis.
Okay, everyone's saying Rufus, absolutely. Okay.
Rufus it is.
Rufus pulls towards the door of the house. Looks like you're going in. The door is locked. Do you break a window? 15. Or shoulder barge the door? 2.
Shoulder barge. Yar.
Yar.
This is me barge full of shoulders.
This is me shoulder barge. Errol, you can't choose Rufus again.
Rufus again.
You cannot eat Rufus.
Eat Rufus.
Okay, we've got...
Eat Rufus with rock.
Don't eat Rufus with rock. That's not what stone soup is. Okay, so I think we've got 2 for breaking the window and 1
Use
for...
Rufus on man.
1 for Wario landing the door. I think we'll go with breaking the window. So,
Alright.
there are no rocks nearby, so you wrap your arm in your sweater and punch the window. It breaks, but you cut yourself. Do you leave and get medical attention? 8. Or continue anyway? 12.
Chad, are you done with this segment?
You cannot zizzy here. Rufus licked the wound. Okay, that's 1 vote for
That is
medical.
medical attention. 2 votes for medical attention.
Oh, is there 2?
Well, I assume Rufus licked the wound says medical
Okay,
attention.
yeah. Let Rufus get the medical supplies. Medical. I cut my finger, I go away. Okay,
My
yep.
finger, I go away.
So, ouchie!
All right.
As you turn to leave, Rufus slips away. You chase him around the side of the house and find an open cellar door with steps leading down. Do you enter 16 or grab him and leave for medical attention 14? Okay, 1 for 14.
Medical attention. Personally, I never trusted Rufus.
1 for enter.
Trust Rufus with my life.
Okay, that's enough for go in, so...
All right.
A young girl appears. Do you try to befriend her? 18. Or hit her with the broom handle that you just have, I guess. 1.
You don't have a broom. You only have the handle of a broom. It's your lucky broom handle. Okay, hit, befriend, hit.
Oh, but that's okay. Friend.
Hunt.
I think we're equal on get her ass and for friend.
Oh, no.
Why are we still bleeding? Because we didn't get medical attention.
Our hand is mostly glass at this point.
Okay, I think we're going to do a great violence upon this girl. Oh wait, nope. There's another vote for friend. Okay, I think that's enough time. So it's time to attack. The girl is angry. The broom handle whips out of your hands and lodges itself down your throat. You suffocate. The end.
Well, great, chat. We died. What the hell?
I want to make these into polls, but like it would take so much time.
It would take way too long.
Well, thank you,
I
Chet.
choose to not suffocate. I make that choice every time I breathe.
This is the story if you want to check it out for yourself. That was Horror House.
That was Horror House.
Okay. I kind of wound up reading that one, so let's see. Oh, y'all, we died. We super did.
Good job. It's what Rufus wanted. Anything for you, Rufus.
My life for you.
Life for Rufus. Cibola! Bumpty bumpty bump.
Okay, do we want... I think I want you to read that one about the Haunted Morrowind mod.
Oh boy. Alright. Alright, here we go. So this is entitled JVK1166Z.ESP.
I take a little framed picture of Rufus out of my pocket. What should I do? Hit her with a broom handle. You need sustenance for the winter.
Rufus, I'm afraid of vampires. Oh, I do. Bats frighten me. I will part the curtain here a little bit and mention that when I stumbled upon this one and suggested it, Jax loudly announced if this was the same story about a Haunted Morrowind mod that she remembered hearing about earlier. So ostensibly there's a great bevy of Haunted Morrowind mod stories. It's really the Lavender Town of the modern age. You know, a modern game that Morrowind is. Okay.
Yeah, super recent and modern.
JVK 1166Z.ESP by Todd Howard.
Todd Howard? The Todd Howard?
The Todd Coward. Woo. Scary. Some people might recall some momentary buzz caused by a couple of years ago, she said, by a particularly odd Morrowind mod. The file name was JVK1166Z.ESP. I hope I don't have to say that too many more times because it's hard.
It sucks to say.
It was never posted on any of the larger Elder Scrolls communities, usually just smaller boards and role-playing groups. I know in a few cases, rather than being posted, it was sent via PM or emailed to a chosen few.
Oh my
It was
god.
only up for a
Is
few days.
is the twist going to be that it's Skyrim again?
It's meant to being Skyrim. It caused a buzz because it was a virus, or seemed to be. If you tried to load the game with the mod active, it would hang at the initial load screen for a full hour and then crash to the desktop. If you let it get that far, your stop dancing on my cat, Dagoth, you piece of shit. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you let it get that far, your install of Morrowind, along with any save files you had, would become completely corrupted. Nobody could figure out what the mod was trying to do, since it couldn't be opened in the construction set. Eventually, warnings were distributed not to use it if you found it, and things died down. About a year later, in a mod board I used to frequent, someone popped up with the mod again. He said he was PM'd by a lurker who deleted his account immediately after sending. He also said that the person advised him to try playing the mod through DOSBox, the scariest operating system. For some reason, this worked, sort of. The game was a bit laggy, and you couldn't get into options, load game, the console, or really anything else other than the game itself. The quick save and quick load hot buttons worked, but that was it. And the quick save file seemed to be just part of the game file, so you couldn't get at it anymore. Some speculated that the changed game used an older graphics renderer, making DOSBox necessary, but it didn't look any different.
Oh, spooky, outdated graphics renderer.
I'm so scared. This part I can speak about from personal experience. When you start a new game in JVK, as the board came to call it, once you left the starting bit in the census office and came into the game proper, the first thing you notice is that the prophecy has been severed box pops up. This is because, man, I'm glad I have a pop filter because I've got like the evening light streaming in just in the right direction for me to see every little droplet of spittle flying from my idiot head flaps.
Gross.
This is because every single NPC having to do with the main quest is dead, with the sole exception of Yagra Bagarn, the last of the Dwemer. Their corpses never despawn, so you can go check on all of them. In effect, you begin in a world that is doomed to start with. The second thing you notice is that you're losing health. It's only a bit, but it keeps happening, a little bit at a time, just like real life. The longer you stay in one place, the quicker it seems to occur. If you let this health loss kill you, you'll find the cause, a figure we came to call the Assassin, because he seems to wear a retextured version of the Dark Brotherhood armor from Tribunal, even though the expansions don't work in JVK.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god! I only get the base game.
It's
all black, completely untextured, like he's just a hole in space. The way he moves, he gave me quite a start the first time I saw him scuttling around my dead body like a Zoidberg.
Yeah, fucking Zoidberg.
Yeah, fucking Zoidberg. He crawls inhumanly on his hands and feet, his arms and legs splayed out like a spider. You'd usually only see him after death, crawling around and over your body just before the reload box popped up. Occasionally, you could catch a glimpse of him darting around a corner or crawling on a wall or ceiling. It made the game very difficult to play at night.
Scary, spooky.
Other than that, the only noticeable difference is that at night, at random intervals, every NPC in the game will go outside for a few minutes. During this time, the only thing that they will say when hailed is, "Watch the sky." Once they return to their normal behavior, they act like normal, though. Once they become normal, they act normally.
People act normal when they become normal.
They also die when they are killed. After a while, a player on the board discovered a new NPC named Tieris, a male Dunmer in the Temple of Ghostgate. Two things are notable. Has anybody here actually played Morrowind, or are these words I'm just saying all just completely crazy?
I've played Morrowind, and I think some streamers with wider reach than ours have been playing Morrowind recently, so hopefully people are familiar.
Hopefully. We rated, what was her name? Straw Bunny Slime
Oh,
yesterday, and we were
yeah.
playing Morrowind. That was pretty good. I watched some of it.
Okay.
Two things are notable about this NPC. First is his robe, a unique article of clothing that was lovingly rendered with twinkling stars all across, like a torn off chunk of the night sky. Oh, how beautiful. The second is that all of his dialogue, in addition to showing up in the dialogue box, is voiced. You can skip it if you wish, but it all sounds like it's in the default male Dunmer voice. Some people said that they thought the voice was slightly different, but it was a very, very good imitation. Oh, probably it was probably me then. I can do a great Dunmer.
Oh,
Oh, Sarah.
dang. Not bad.
That's not good. No, it's bad.
Okay.
I won't go into the details, but the quest line he sends you on has to do with a dungeon referred to simply as the Citadel. Up until this point, the quests were all of a fairy Galernic. Discover the secrets of the ancients bent. The entrance to this dungeon is on a small island far to the west of Morrowind proper. Isn't that just Cyrodiil? It's fine. I eventually discovered that if you used a scroll of Icarian flight at the westernmost point on the main landmass and jumped directly west, you'd end up almost exactly at the island. Even though the dungeon is called the Citadel, it goes straight down. It dwarfs any other dungeon, both in size and difficulty. From a natural cave area, you'll proceed down into an ancestral tomb-looking area, then a Daedric ruin area, then a Dwemer ruin area. I made it down to the Dwemer ruins before I quit. The creatures here were strong enough that a level 20 character would have to take care, and since you can't use the console in JVK, level 20 took a while to get to. Since quick save and quick load are your only options, it's all too easy to get yourself into an impossible situation, too. I did, and I just didn't have the energy to start over. Now, what I'm telling you is based on what those few who went further reported. I read that real good. Past the Dwemer ruins, you find yourself in a level like the Dwemer ruins, but darker.
Oh, okay.
Rather than the usual bronze, all the surfaces, including those of the creatures, are black. The sound of the machinery are loud here, and grow louder still, randomly. There's also steam or fog everywhere, limiting your vision to about 10 in-game feet or so. So, like the normal draw distance.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you can't make it in through all this, you will reach a hall that those who found it called the Portrait Room. Like fire and torches or other effects from early 3D games, this room has picture frames that always face directly at you, no matter how you look at them. I don't know what sprites are. The images in frames were always randomly chosen images from your My Pictures folder. On the board, the ones who got there had some fun posting screenshots of the portrait room with various pictures in the frames, usually porn, of course.
Yeah, so far there's been nothing particularly scary. It's just a really weird mod with questionable decisions. This is
I know.
The dead Bart of Morrowind mods.
This is the dead Bart. Dead Vivek. Oh man, he's kind of a half Simpson, isn't he? Oh, I don't like that. Let's not consider that too.
I'm sorry, what?
Vivek, he's like a half Simpson.
Explain.
He's yellow on half of his body. It's just what he be.
I guess.
Half of his body is yellow, the other half is blue. Because he only got half of the curse from Azura, who was mad at the Chimer because of his... It's not important. At the end of the hall was a locked door. After admitting defeat and returning to Tierras, everyone just found him saying, "Watch the sky." Oh, I'm sorry. "Watch the sky," in his gravelly voice. What's more, nobody else in game would say anything. There was just a completely blank dialogue box with no options at all. They wouldn't even rattle off the usual canned audible greetings. The only exception was at night. Whenever they'd go out for a few minutes, they'd still repeat, "Watch the sky." At this point, one of the players, a friend of mine from the board, of executives, noticed, and a few others who got this far agreed that the night sky was no longer the usual night sky of Tamriel. It had changed to a depiction of a real night sky, and it moved.
Oh.
From this point on, everything is based on what this one person reported. Eventually, he got himself kicked from the board, but I kept in contact with him for as long as he responded. According to him, based on the constellations and planets, the sky started around February 2005. If you died, loaded, or went back to the Citadel, it would start over. When the usual day sky graphics took over, the movement would be suspended until the stars reappeared again, just like real life.
Yeah, it changed to a depiction of an actual night sky. So yeah, a PNG.
You mean like
just,
a PNG?
just a nice sky JPEG.
Mm-hmm. In the space of a single night, everything would move about 2 months or so. Since the timescale of JVK was more or less that of the standard game, it meant that a bit less than an hour was equal to a 24-hour period. He became convinced that the door would open based on some kind of celestial event. Of course, waiting for that meant leaving the game running. Of course, that meant the game couldn't be left unattended thanks to our old friend the assassin. My friend decided he'd hang out for a whole day just to see if anything happened. That would be about a year's worth of movement. Here's the post he made at the end of this experiment. I loaded in Satanine where it all starts. It wasn't too bad. Just had to check in now and then to move around and heal to make sure I wasn't dying. But check it out. 24 hours exactly in, and the assassin learned a new trick. He screams! I was reading, and all of a sudden, this crazy loud shriek just about makes me crap myself. It's like something out of a horror movie.
I have to say, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it when the phrase "it's like something out of a horror movie" comes up in horror. It's like
Didn't that specifically come up in the game we streamed yesterday?
it super did. Like it came up in Little Hope, and it's like this is like something out of the horror movie, and it's like,
Wink.
and then immediately they're like, well, I'm gonna go and do a dumb thing that would be a dumb thing to do in a horror movie. And then someone else points out that's how you get killed in a horror movie. It's just like, okay,
And then they just do.
you fucking put a lampshade on this enough. Stop it.
I look up, and there he is, just crouched down right in front of me. Oh man, there's a lot of this guy reading. I shouldn't do this voice. But I will. Of course, the second I moved my character, he ran off. I'm sorry, I'm committed now, Boof. When I went back down to the portrait room, the door was still locked. Damn it, damn it, damn it. A bit later, he came to the decision that he needed to wait 3 days. 3 years. The PM advising us to try DOSBox showed up in February of 2008, was his reasoning anyway. After the first shriek, the assassin stops hitting you out of nowhere. Now he'll Shrek, and if you don't move for a few seconds after that, he hits you. I think whoever made the mod was trying to help. At night, I've got my headphones on, and I was just kind of dozing off. When he wakes me up with a shriek, I jiggle the mouse, and I'm good. That post was 2 days in from his laptop. Once it was over, fuck. So fucking done. So I wait 3 days, right? And right after the fucking assassin made me jiggle the mouse, he Shreks again. So I look, and everyone in town is outside. They're all saying, watch the sky. I don't see anything, though. But then the game starts getting dark. Like, really dark. I turn up the brightness all the way on my monitor, and I can still barely see. I can see other people in the game, little figures running around in the distance, just running back and forth. If I try to get close, they run off. Now, I was trying to sleep, so the lights are off, and this is kind of creepy. I don't want to get up on and turn on my light because I don't want to miss anything, but nothing fucking happens.
Hey Kermit,
What?
do you have legs?
Once.
Oh.
They got eaten. Eventually, I go back to the Citadel. It's still dark, and I gotta swim, which is hard with no legs. And the whole time, I can see all these guys swimming around me, just barely. I make it to the Citadel, and it's normal light inside, and I get worried. Sure enough, the portrait door is still fucking closed. I go outside, and it's all starting over. So that's it.
God.
I'm fucking going to bed, and I'm fucking done. The end. After that, Two things happen. First, another of the people who got to the portrait room claimed that the assassin was showing up in his regular Morrowind game. Quick explanation. If you reinstalled Morrowind to a different folder, you could have a normal Morrowind. It's all on with JVK. Thank you for that explanation.
Thanks. I love
I was
technical
really scared there for a
explanations. Yeah.
second. Yeah, I was frightened I wouldn't be able to play normal Morrowind
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
He himself chalked it up to an overactive imagination at first, but he reported a couple of really big scares with the black figure crawling right at him, or seeing it wait for him just around a corner before scuttling off. Another of those who reached the portrait room started a regular Morrowind game, but never saw him for sure. It was just a couple of maybes, late at night, and always at a distance. The second is that my friend started getting really abusive and short-tempered on the board,
Dang.
though he stopped talking about JVK entirely. It got so bad that he was soon kicked off. I didn't hear anything from him for a couple weeks after that, so I sent him an email. This was part of his reply. I know I shouldn't, but with classes out, I've got some time, so I started JVK up again. It's almost 2011, the distant future, and I think I've got the sleep madness. But stuff
The
is happening.
sleep madness.
I've got it. Don't question it. I have the sleep madness. But stuff is still happening. It's still dark. Once it gets dark, it never gets any lighter. It stays like that. The people moved a few months ago. Everyone in Satanine just went to that little bandit cave and moved in. They killed the bandits inside, and now they're just standing around inside. They don't say anything anymore inside. They don't do anything when you click on them inside. I quick-saved and killed one, and he just stood there until he died without even fighting back. And it's like that everywhere. You have to walk, since the quick travel people are all in caves now too, but all the cities and towns are just deserted. All the people are in caves and tombs. Everyone in Vivek is down in the sewers. I'm going to Ghostgate next. I want to see if Tiaras is still there. I'll tell you what he says when I get there. I replied and said I wanted to see what he said too, and waited a day. When I didn't get a reply, I mailed him again, and a couple hours later he sent back, Sorry, I totally forgot. So it's 2014 now. Since it's always night, the stars are always moving. The whole screen is dark, but you can still see the brightest stars moving around. Tiaras was gone. Everyone in Ghostgate was still gone. I don't know where they went. Oh, maybe a Bufus ate them. They're not in any of the nearby caves, but there's new stuff. People don't say anything, but their eyes are bleeding. Hyper-realistically, even.
Oh, hyper-realistic
so-
blood.
It's so dark that even with a light spell, you have to get right up against them to see. But there they are, little dark streaks coming down from their eyes. I think I gotta be getting close. I know this is stupid and there's no way the payoff is going to be worth it, but I just want to be able to say I stuck it out. I got that one during the day. Later that night, I get a follow-up email. Some of the planets aren't moving right. It's pissing me off. If this keeps up, I won't be able to keep track anymore.
I'm the
It's
original
almost-
planet walker. These planets are pissing me off.
These planets are stupid and wrong. Almost 2015 now, I think. Fuck. You know, I just noticed that there aren't any monsters anymore either. I'm completely alone outside now. The main quest people's bodies are still lying around, though. I went to check on them. I don't need headphones anymore, so I just leave them off. When he shrieks, it's like he's screaming right into my ear. I think I even kind of anticipate it. He's around a lot more now, a lot closer. He's different from other people who started showing up, remember? They keep running around just when I can barely see them. I have to admit, it's kind of creepy at night. Sometimes when I go to the bathroom or whatever, I swear I can see something out of the corner of my eye. I'm keeping all the lights on now. I sent him a letter, jokingly telling him to get some real sleep, and left it at that. 2 mornings later, I found this in my email. It was the last thing I got from him. After this, he stopped responding completely, saving all of chat from this terrible voice. I just got up from a fucked up dream, I think. The assassin shrieked at me, and when I opened my eyes, he was right there, crouching over me. His arms and legs were longer, more like a spider's. I tried to push him away, but when I touched him, my hands just went inside, and I couldn't get them loose again. It was like he was made of tar or something.
Oh my god.
Then I woke up. I thought he was gone, but when I looked at the monitor, I wasn't where I was. I was in the corpusarium with Yagram. For once, the light was okay, and I could see him all bloated on those mechanical spider legs. I sat down at the computer, and he started talking to me. Not in a box, but really talking to me, in Tiaris's voice. He knew things about me. He told me things that I never told anyone, some things I totally forgot about. He told me that almost nobody had made it this far, and that the door would open up soon. I just had to hang on a little while longer. He said I'd know when it was time. He said I might be the first one to see what was inside. And then I woke up for real. But I was at the computer. I still wasn't where I was. I'm swimming out to the Citadel Island, and I can hear this tapping. It's at my window. It's over on the left. So I'm sending you this because I left my laptop by my bed. To the right. Just a little tap, 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 tap. Like he's knocking his finger against the glass. I might still be dreaming now. So I guess that's the end of the story. I know there's a few other stories floating around about the mod, but this is the only one I know is true as far as it goes. I deleted my JVK copy of the game pretty much right after I gave up, but I'd like to get the mod again if anyone still has a copy of the file. I'd like to see some of this for myself. Hey, what the fuck did I just read? What the fuck was that?
Spooky Morrowind mod.
Oh,
Woo!
I'm so scared.
It's hard to install and difficult to get running on a modern computer. Woo!
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, the guy stayed up for days. Well, the guy's friend stayed up for days playing the Morrowind Funny mod. Got insomnia or something, or the sleep madness as he called it, and
Sleep madness.
the sleep madness, and maybe hallucinated this. I don't know.
I had a dream about an evil assassin, and then his laptop was slightly to the right, or something.
Yeah, his computer was to the left, and there was someone tapping on his window.
There he was, stuck in the middle with you.
Drinks too much dark potion, energy drink, and feels sleep madness, insomnia.
I feel like I've got the tongue madness now.
Agreed. Well, I made you hurt with that, so what am I reading next?
Sure did. Should we? I don't think I'm gonna make you read this one because this one is way too long. Should I get you with another stupid one, or should we do another legit horror?
Let's try for another legit horror because, like, that one was really dumb.
That was pretty dumb. All right. I guess we can content warning this with some themes of like Christian horror, I guess, or otherworldly horror. So there you are. But if you'd like to read, We Should All Fear the Old Horns.
Okay. Sleep madness is when you stay up a little too long and start going completely off the fucking wall. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Which for me is about 6 hours total of being awake.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is again from r/no sleep by Elias Witherow, and it is the winner of May 2016 Scariest Story. So let's get started. When you've been a priest for as long as I have, you start to notice patterns in people. When a parishioner approaches, I can already guess what they want to ask me by their body language, or by the way their eyes flicker to meet mine. It's quite funny, actually. Everyone thinks they're unique, that somehow they're different than anyone else. Well, let me tell you.
Bunch of NPCs.
Bunch of fucking NPCs. This is definitely a Reddit protagonist. Well, let me tell you. After 38 years of hearing confessions, I've come to the conclusion that we're all pretty much identical. If I have to listen to one more trembling voice confess to watching pornography, I just might lose my mind. I haven't turned cynical in my old age, just weary. When you hear the same sins repeated over and over again, 1,000 million times over, you begin to wonder if there's any hope left for the human race. I guess that's where faith kicks in. Though now, I'm not sure how much of that faith I still possess. You see, I don't practice anymore. I've given up the collar. I witnessed something that has shaken me to this day, and the shadow of his memory still haunts me. It was the last confession I ever did.
I finally decided to look into this pornography everybody was confessing about. I saw one booby and renounced Christ.
Fucking good. Okay. I stifled a yawn, trying my best to remain awake as another sobbing parishioner left the confessional. The whole process had become so mechanical to me that I barely even heard what was being whispered on the other side of the screen. I adjusted the cushion under my rear, feeling the familiar ache that had only gotten worse as my years advanced. I checked my... Rude. I checked my watch, and I saw that I had another 20 minutes to go. I closed my eyes and offered it up to the Lord, begging him to fill me with patience for these people. I heard the familiar creak of wood on the other side of the screen as yet another sinner took their place. I ran a hand over my weary eyes and then spoke into the screen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I recited, making the sign of the cross. A male voice whispered to me from the other side.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. This is my first confession.
I shifted the cushion beneath me, annoyed at the distraction, and tried my best to focus on the man. Do not be afraid, my son. Tell the Lord what you have done. The man said nothing for a moment, his voice rasping behind the screen.
Father, I don't think there's any hope for me. I've done so much.
I sat up a little straighter. My son, there is no sin too great for God. The man struggled to keep his emotions in check, his voice straining.
I think I've broken every rule in the book. Murder, deception, lust, cryptocurrency,
Playing Pokemon Red.
Pokemon Red. Oh, get the fuck out of my church. What are you doing?
This is... The house of Christ is a Blastoise-only house.
Because his cannons are full of holy water.
My fucking god. Oh. The mention of murder sent a cold icicle shooting up my back. You killed someone? I asked, voice hardening. This is
You killed someone. Killed someone. Killed someone.
I guess it's probably not great for the priest to have a loud voice. This is a serious confession, one I had never heard before in all my years in the booth. I could hear the man begin to fall apart, shame and grief washing his words in sorrow.
I've killed so many people.
My heart was racing in my chest. Who have you killed? When was this? The man sniffled.
It was a long time ago. I've been on the run for so long. I don't know what to do anymore. My whole life is a lie. One big fake advertisement for something I'm not.
I leaned into the screen, voice stern. Have you thought about turning yourself into the police? Coming clean will surely ease the way to your sins. I can hear it in your voice. You're suffering. The man started crying.
You have no idea.
I knew I had to be delicate here. Son, the Lord's love is endless. He can forgive you these transgressions if you show him how truly sorry you are. The man surprised me by barking a laugh.
His love is not endless.
I swallowed, treading carefully. I know it's hard to understand, to accept, especially when you're feeling so low. But hear me, nothing is too great for the Lord. His wisdom and love for you is deeper than the oceans, broader than the universe, and he wants you to know that, to feel that in your soul. The man was recovering and he snorted behind the screen. Oh no, he's turning into the police!
Oh no, you couldn't be more wrong.
Slightly frustrated, I pressed him. What makes you say that? Suddenly the man's voice filled the entire booth, a deep rumble that shook me to the very core of my soul.
Because I am your lord.
I blinked, my head spinning. This was new. Just what kind of person was I dealing with here? I suddenly realized that the mental state of this person could be seriously compromised. After a moment, I decided to play along a little longer. You're the Lord.
I can hear your doubt.
I sniffed. Well, forgive me if I'm a little cautious around someone who proclaims that they're the Son of God.
There is no Son of God.
The man said, irritated.
Just me. You guys made up all that Jesus bullshit. I had nothing to do with that.
My mind was spinning as I tried to keep up. Okay, so who are you, really? And what are you doing in my confessional? The man exhaled.
I just told you who I am, and I'm here to make peace before I die, or whatever happens to me afterwards. I don't really know how I die. I've never thought about it before.
I decided it was time to start steering the ship back on course. When a soul dies in the good graces of God, it gets sent to heaven.
No. You're wrong. You're all wrong.
What are you talking about? I asked, feeling anger begin to stir in my chest. The man's voice dropped low.
Heaven is fucking gone.
I cocked an eyebrow, the seriousness in his voice giving me pause. What do you mean, gone? His tone remained the same, a low rumble.
It got wiped out a long time ago. There's nothing left.
For reasons unexplainable, I began to feel uneasy, a sinking dread that was just beginning to form in my stomach. How is that possible? God is almighty, the devil can never best him, I said. The man slammed his hand against the wall, causing me to jump.
There is no devil. There never was. I don't know where you people got that, but it wasn't from me. There's just myself and heaven. No angels, no saints, nothing. I created a place for you, and I created a place for me. And then I sat around and watched my creations, all from the comfort of my home, my heaven. Every once in a while, I'd poke my finger in and stir up some shit. Cause a disaster or something, just to see how you'd react.
If heaven is gone, where do our souls go when we die? I asked.
Well, they tab over to the wrong page and have to find their place again. That's where they go. I have no idea.
The man said.
I don't even know if you have a soul. I certainly didn't give you one. Why would I? I made you so I could have something to do. When you die, 3 more people take your place, and I watch the circus go round and round. I have to say, I'm impressed with the human race. You all really have come a long way. I never dreamed you'd create such wonders.
Something outside the booth in the sanctuary crashed, but I ignored it, the man drawing all my attention. What? Why are you here? I repeated, mind blanking at the absurdity of what I was hearing. The man's voice turned quiet, an edge of unease now.
Because I'm going to die soon. I can't hide down here much longer. They know where I am. They're getting so close.
Who? The man collected himself before whispering.
The old horns.
I could hear the shuffling of feet echoing outside the booth as people began to leave, probably annoyed at the long confessional, but I didn't care. Something about this man held me and terrified me. I'm not following, I said, a worm of unease snaking up my stomach into my chest. I thought you said...
Me. The worm of unease.
I thought you said there was just you and us. I thought you said the devil didn't exist.
He doesn't.
The man hissed.
This is something else entirely. I have no idea what they are or where they came from.
The logical part of me begged to end this conversation, but I couldn't let it go. What do they want with you? The old horns? Fear entered the man's voice.
I don't know. They just showed up in heaven one day, taking me completely by surprise. They destroyed everything. Their power and wrath was far more furious than anything I've ever seen before. I had no choice. I ran.
You ran and came to Earth?
I had to.
He said.
Where else is there to go? I don't know anywhere else but your world and mine. I have no clue where these entities came from or how they found me, but there's no stopping them. They'll be here soon. I can't hide forever.
I exhaled, trying to collect my thoughts. Okay. So say hypothetically this is all true. Why would you come here? To confession? If you're God, what do you need to apologize for? The man was silent for a moment and then said softly,
Isn't this what you're supposed to do before you die? Truth be told, I have no idea what'll happen to me when they catch up, but I'm scared. I'm really, really scared. I've done a lot of bad things, and this just seemed like the right thing to do.
He trailed off miserably.
I'm not the all-loving, wonderful God humanity thinks I am. I've done things to you people that sicken me. I don't know why I did them, but I did. You can look back on history and probably pick out the events I had a hand in. They're pretty obvious. You know how people always say, why would God let that happen? Well, it's because I'm an asshole. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the shit I've made you people go through. You didn't deserve it. I kept pushing the envelope, and you Christians never lost faith in me. You would find ways to make sense of it all, always giving me the glory. Shit, I'm so sorry.
I didn't say anything. The weight of his words collapsing in on me like the walls of a cave, trapping me in their conviction. How could I believe any of this? It was nonsense, and yet... Another crash echoed in the sanctuary, and this time I took notice because it filled the silence.
Oh no.
I heard the man whisper, fear stirring his voice. What's wrong? I asked quietly. I heard the shuffle of a curtain and the creak of wood.
They're here.
Who?
The old horns.
Something dropped into the pit of my stomach, and I was suddenly very on edge. I leaned forward, one hand resting on the curtain in front of me.
Don't open it. Do not look at them.
The man hissed. Why? I whispered, my voice unsteady now.
Just don't.
He said urgently.
My time here is done. I'm at the end of my road. Stay in your booth until you hear silence again. It'll be safe then.
Sorry, I lost my place. This is insane. There's nothing out there. The man leaned into the screen, his voice earnest.
I know I have no right to ask you of this, but please, have faith in me one last time.
My hand remained frozen, my sweaty fingers plastered to the curtain. I was paralyzed, torn between the madness of his story and the shocking, sinking feeling I felt in my chest.
Please.
The man begged now.
Absolve me of my sins, and I'll leave you all alone, forever.
Voice shaking, mind spinning, I released the curtain and turned to the screens. Something moved outside the booth, a scraping sound across the marble floors. I made the sign of the cross, voice trembling. I absolve you of your sins. Go in peace. The man exhaled heavily, relief filling him.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Suddenly a noise blasted through the church, so loud that I had to cover my ears, my heart leaping into my throat. It was the blast of a low horn, a long, single note that rattled me to the born. Fuck me. To the bone.
Me borns, star.
Oh. Let me try that again. Okay. It was the blast of a low horn, a long single note that rattled me to the bone. It's time, the man said. Wait, sorry. That was you. Ah, Beans.
It's okay.
Wait.
It's time.
Wait, I cried, pressing my face against the screen. Don't go out there, please. The man's voice softened.
Maybe this is how it was supposed to be. I never sent someone to die on a cross for your sins, but I do love you. I love all of you, and I can't thank you enough for keeping me company all these years. You truly are an incredible people. God bless, Father.
And then I heard the curtain rustle as he stepped out into the sanctuary. His footsteps echoed away from me, and I slammed my hands over my ears again as another horn sounded. My breath blew sour across my tongue, and I sat panting, waiting, sweat rolling down my spine. I heard the man speaking to something, but I couldn't understand him. His voice muffled, my hands clenched my pants, and every part of me screamed to look. But I resisted, teeth grinding together as I squeezed my eyes shut. I began to count in my head, desperately needing to focus on something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another ear-splitting horn sounded off, the low notes so loud I heard the confessional booths creak against the blast. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I opened my eyes. I had just felt something change, something in the air. A shift in energy, a draining of something that was no longer there. I sat panting for a few minutes longer and then let out a long breath, releasing the tension I had been holding inside of me. Cautiously, I reached out and grasped the curtain in front of me. I stood, my old bones sighing, and dragged a shaking hand across my brow. I opened the curtain, and the sanctuary stood empty. Not long after that, I gave up the cloth. I just couldn't do it anymore. Something about that day shook me to the very essence of my being. I've discussed the event with a couple of other priests, and they just don't understand. I don't blame them. When I recite my story, it sounds like the rambling of a madman. Who would alter their life so drastically based on one interaction, especially considering the circumstances? But I have, and I don't regret it. Something about prayer just feels so empty now. I don't know what's going to happen when I die. In truth, no one does. What I do know is what I felt that day inside the confessional. That was real. When I strip away everything else, all the questions and oddities, that twist in my gut is what remains. I can't explain what I witnessed. I can't rationalize the bizarre sounds I heard. I can't reenact the conviction I heard in that man's voice. It was there, and it was real. And that is what I have put my faith into. So that was We Should All Fear the Old Horns. Oh man, Cora is absolutely going bonkers. Oh yeah, that was an amazing one. I loved that.
I'm glad y'all like that one.
Absolutely. Oh, we've been going.
I say as though I wrote it. I did not write it. I just found it. I
Oh,
curated it.
curated.
Just like that asshole with the up hair.
Absolutely. Okay. I think I'd like to get you to read another Cora story. So if you would care to look at Crossroad Blues.
Crossroad Blues. Here we go. Oh, I was snuggling a Boofus there.
Oh, hey,
and
Elijah.
Now I'm covered in cat hair.
Oh, spooky cat
Hey,
hair?
Elijah, how you doing? Mm-hmm.
Oh. It's okay, we'll read something dumb at some point, probably. Oh, this is Christian horror as well, so.
Some perfect timing then. All right, so this is Crossroad Blues. Back when the Civil War's victory and the Reconstruction's failure were fresh in our minds, there was an African American man by the name Robert Johnson. Now, Robert was a man with a dream, and that dream was filled with wine, women, and song. So he found a way to get a guitar, and he started to teach himself how to play. But as he played and plunked and strummed, it only sounded like something was taking the cat out back and strangling it. And it continued on that path for 2 years, and he hadn't improved a bit. But Robert was a hungry, desperate man for that dream filled with wine, women, and song. So he gets to talking around and finds himself another musician who seemed to turn into a hit overnight. And he asks, "Where'd you learn to play like that?" And the musician answers, "Well, I went out to the crossroads, and I stayed there till the middle of the night. And then a man came down the road saying he can teach me how to play, but his prices are steep there, young'un. Don't go out there, lest you be sure." Now, Robert could have probably heeded those last words real careful like, but he was dead set on that life of wine, women, and song. So he grabs his guitar and heads out to the crossroads and waits, and waits, and waits. Till it was about midnight, when down the road walked a man in a fine suit, with white as salt skin and eyes as burning coals. Now, the man says to Robert, "What you up to at the crossroad?" Yeah, all right, you do it.
What are you up to at the crossroad at this hour?
Robert gulped, but he was honest. "Well, sir, I'm looking for someone to help me play this guitar here."
And why, young man, do you want to know that?
"I want to live a life of wine, women, and song, sir."
Well, son, I am a bit of a musician myself. I should tell you about the time I was in Georgia, but I can definitely teach you a thing or three, but it won't be cheap.
Do you hear cats?
Yeah, it happens. They follow me around.
Dang. "I'll pay it," Robert said, desperate, just like the man liked him.
All it will be is your soul.
Now, I'm not saying that Robert Johnson went out to the crossroads one night and sold his soul to the devil, but I do know that he ended up in some honky tonk the next day, and he played so powerfully, everyone was dancing and singing along. And right then and there, he had it, that life of wine, women, and song. But the issue with a life of wine, women, and song is that there's many a jealous man whose wife would spurn him for a musician. It was said one night, in some lonesome dive, a man who lost the love of his life to the blues musician walked up to the stage. He pointed a revolver and shot Robert 6 times. Now, as the story goes, or so I hear, everyone ran out of the dive, save for one man way in the back there. And he was laughing loud and proud.
Robert Johnson, your soul is mine. That was Crossroad Blues. A tale from our very own Cora.
Dang.
Well, a tale from Americana,
Oh,
told
hey.
told by Cora.
Hey, Jax.
Uh-huh.
Our special guest Dagoth has been listening to the last couple of stories with us, and he looks like he's really into them.
Fucking loves it.
I guess he can stay if he wants.
What's that, Dagoth there? Oh, you gotta go? Okay, well, go gaze upon the heart or something. There he goes.
If only God had a giant volcano robot.
What a dumbass.
Could never be me.
It could never be me.
Okay. Let's see. I feel like we've got time for a couple more. Do we want to do something classic?
Sure.
Well, I know it's supposed to be your pick, but how about we just fucking read The Masque of the Red Death?
All right. I can do it.
Absolutely. So this one may hit a little bit close to home, considering the panini outside, but, you know. This is The Masque of the Red Death by Reddit user Edgar Allan Poe.
An egg on Ellen Poe.
Sorry.
Somebody get this egg off me.
Allan Poe.
Oh, it's me, Ellen Poe.
I'm gonna take a sippy.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Ooh, also, Banshee Strikes, thank you for following us on YouTube. The notification just came through. If you're
Alright.
into watching some of our VODs, do what Banshee Strikes just did, and go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got highlights from our first Sonic stream on there, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you mentioned it before when I was in Piss Town, but it's such a good video.
Yeah, I'm actually just gonna real quick shout out Koboltoon, because Laura of Koboltoon fame is the one who is editing some of our videos, and she did an amazing job. And Koboltoon are funny as hell. I feel like they weren't recently playing Bomberman 64. I feel like they're playing Mario Online, but hey. Anyways.
Oh yeah, Nightbot's a liar.
Nightbot's a liar. Oh well. The Masque of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe, 1842. The Red Death had long devastated the country. No pestilence had ever been so fatal or so hideous. Blood was its avatar and its seal, the redness and the horror of blood. There were sharp pains and sudden dizziness, and then profuse bleeding at the pores with dissolution. The scarlet stains upon the body, and especially upon the face of the victim, were the pest ban which shut him out from the aid of the symphony. From the aid and from the symphony. Words are hard.
The symphony of his fellow men.
The sympathy of his fellow men.
The symphony.
And the whole seizure, progress, and termination of the disease were the instants of half an hour. But the Prince Prospero was happy and dauntless and sagacious. Sagacious?
Sagacious.
Yeah. When his
full of sagacity.
When his dominions were half depopulated, he summoned to his presence 1,000 hale and light-hearted friends from among the knights and dames of his court, and with these yet retired to the deep seclusion of one of his castellated abbeys. This was an extensive and magnificent structure, the creation of this prince's own eccentric yet august taste. A strong and lofty wall girdled it in. This wall had gates of iron. The courtiers, having entered, brought furnaces and massy hammers and welded the bolts. They resolved to leave means neither of ingress or egress to the sudden impulses of despair or frenzy from within. The abbey was amply provisioned. With such precautions, the courtiers might bid defiance to contagion. The external world could take care of itself. In the meantime, it was folly to grieve or to think. The prince had provided all the appliances of pleasure. There were buffoons. There were improvisatory art. Wow, I am reading a lot of words that I've never come across before. There were buffoons. There were improv comedians. There were ballet dancers. There were musicians. There was beauty. There was wine.
It was beast.
All these in security were within. Without was the Red Death. Yeah, he is seriously having a party during a pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is absolutely fucking Jake-ass Paul throwing a goddamn corona party at the height of the pandemic. Like a fucking dumbass. It was towards the close of the 5th or 6th month of his seclusion, and while the pestilence raged most furiously abroad, that the Prince Prospero entertained his 1,000 friends at a masked ball of most unusual magnificence. It was a voluptuous scene, that masquerade, but first let me tell of the rooms in which it was held. There were 7, an imperial suite. In many palaces, however, such suites form a long and straight vista, while the folding doors slide back nearly to the walls on either hand, so that the view of the whole extent is scarcely impeded. Here the case was very different, as might have been expected from the Duke's love of the bizarre. The apartments were so irregularly disposed that the vision embraced but little more than one at a time. There was a sharp turn at every 20 or 30 yards, and at each turn a novel effect. To the right and left, in the middle of each wall, a tall and narrow Gothic window looked out upon a closed corridor, which pursued the windings of the suite. These windows were of stained glass, whose colour varied in accordance with the prevailing hue of the decorations of the chamber into which it opened. That at the eastern extremity was hung, for example, in blue, and vividly blue were its windows. The second chamber was purple in its ornaments and tapestries, and here the panes were purple. The third was green throughout, and so were the casements. The fourth was furnished and lighted with orange. The fifth was white. The sixth with violet. The seventh apartment was The seventh apartment was closely shrouded in black velvet tapestries that hung all over the ceiling and down the walls, falling in heavy folds upon a carpet of the same material and hue. But in this chamber only, the colour of the windows failed to correspond with the decorations. The panes here were scarlet, a deep blood colour. Now in no one of the 7 apartments was there any lamp or candelabrum, amid the profusion of golden ornaments that lay scattered to and fro or depended from the roof. There was no light of any kind emanating from lamp or candle within the suite of chambers, but in the corridors that followed the suite there stood, opposite to each window, a heavy tripod bearing a brazier of fire that projected its rays through tinted glass and so glaringly illuminated the room. And thus were produced a multitude of gaudy and fantastic appearances. But in the western or black chamber, the effect of the firelight that streamed upon the dark hangings through the blood-tinted panels was ghastly in the extreme, and produced so wild a look upon the countenances of those who entered, that there were few of the company bold enough to set foot within its precincts at all. It was in this apartment also that there stood against the western wall a gigantic clock of ebony. Its pendulum swung to and fro with a dull, heavy, monotonous clang, and when the minute hand made the circuit of the face, and the hour was to be stricken, there came from the brazen lungs of the clock a sound which was clear and loud and deep and exceedingly musical, but of so peculiar a note and emphasis that, at each lapse of an hour, the musicians of the orchestra were constrained to pause momentarily in their performance to hearken to the sound, and thus the waltzers perforce ceased their evolutions, and there was a brief disconcert of the whole gay company, and while the chimes of the clock yet rang, it was observed that the giddiest grew pale, and the more aged and sedate passed their hands over their brows as if in confused reverie or meditation. Holy shit, Edgar Allan Poe. That was like 3 semicolons and no periods.
What's a period?
Oh my god. See me. Classic author. Oh. Me and the gay company when we're disconcerted.
Oh no.
Good. But when the echoes had fully ceased, a light laughter at once pervaded the assembly. Musicians looked at each other and smiled as if their own nervousness and folly, and made whispering vows, each to the other, that the next chiming of the clock should produce in them no similar emotion. And then, after the lapse of 60 minutes, which embraced 3,600 seconds of the time that flies, there came another chiming of the clock, and then were the same disconcert and tremulousness in meditations as before.
I vow I'm not gonna piss my pants next time the clock... Oh, shit. Oh, Baines. Oh, I lied.
But in spite of these things, it was a gay and magnificent revel. The tastes of the Duke were peculiar. He had a fine eye for colours and effects. He disregarded the decora of mere fashion. His plans were bold and fiery, and his conceptions glowed with barbaric lustre. There were some who would have thought him mad. His followers felt that he was not. It was necessary to hear and see and touch him to be sure that he was not. He had directed in great part the movable embellishments of the 7 chambers upon occasion of this great fete, and it was his own guiding taste which had given character to the masqueraders. But be sure they were grotesque. There were much glare and glitter and piquancy and phantasm, much of what had been seen in... much of what has been since seen in Hernani. There were arabesque figures with unsuited limbs and appointments. There were delirious fancies such as that of the madman fashions. There was much of the beautiful, much of the wanton, much of the bizarre, something of the terrible, and not a little of that which might have excited disgust. To and fro in the 7 chambers there stalked, in fact, a multitude of dreams, and these, the dreams, writhed in and about, taking hue from the rooms and causing the wild music of the orchestra to seem as the echo of their steps. And anon there strikes the ebony clock which stands in the hall of the velvet, and then for a moment all is still, and all is silence save the voice of the clock. The dreams are stiff frozen as they stand, but the echoes of the chime die away. They have endured but an instant, and a light, half-subdued laughter floats after them as they depart. And now again the music swells, and the dreams live and writhe to and fro more merrily than ever, taking hue from the many-tinted windows through which stream the rays from the tripods. But to the chamber which lies most westwardly of the 7, there are now none of the maskers who venture, for the night is waning away, and there flows a ruddier light through the blood-coloured panes, and the blackness of the sable drapery appalls, and to him whose foot falls upon the sable carpet, there comes from the near clock of ebony a muffled peal more solemnly emphatic than any which reaches their ears, who indulge in the more remote gaieties of the other apartments. But these other...
You want to tag me in?
Please, yeah, go for it.
Vocal cords need a break. But these other apartments were densely crowded, and in them beat feverishly the heart of life. And the revel went whirlingly on, until at length there commenced the sounding of midnight upon the clock. And then the music ceased, as I have told, and the evolutions of the waltzers were quieted, and there was an uneasy cessation of all things as before. But now There were 12 strokes to be sounded by the bell of the clock, and thus it happened, perhaps, that more of thought crept with more of time into the meditations of the thoughtful among those who revelled. And thus, too, it happened, perhaps, that before the last echoes of the last chime had utterly sunk into silence, there were many individuals in the crowd who had found leisure to become aware of the presence of a masked figure which had arrested the attention of no single individual before. And the rumor of this new presence having spread itself whisperingly around, there arose at length from the whole company a buzz or murmur expressive of disapprobation and surprise, then finally of terror, of horror, and of disgust. In an assembly of phantasms such as I have painted, it may well be supposed that no ordinary appearance could have excited such sensation. In truth, the masquerade license of the night was nearly unlimited, but the figure in question had out-Heroded Herod, and gone beyond the bounds of even the prince's indefinite decorum. There are chords in the hearts of the most reckless which cannot be touched without emotion, even with the utterly lost, to whom life and death are equally jests. There are matters of which no jest can be made. The whole company, indeed, seemed now deeply to feel that in the costume and bearing of the stranger neither wit nor propriety existed. The figure was tall and gaunt, and shrouded from head to foot in the habiliments of the grave. The mask which concealed the visage was made so nearly to resemble the countenance of a stiffened corpse that the closest scrutiny must have had difficulty in detecting the cheat. The cheat.
The cheat!
The cheat! What are you doing here? And yet all this might have been endured, if not approved, by the mad revellers around, but the murmur had gone so far as to assume the type of the Red Death. His vesture was dabbled in blood, and his broad brow, with all the features of the face, was besprinkled with the scarlet horror. When the eyes of Prince Prospero fell upon the spectral image, which with a slow and solemn movement, as if more fully to sustain its role, stalked to and fro among the waltzers, he was seen to be convulsed, in the first moment with a strong shudder either of terror or distaste, but in the next his brow reddened with rage. "Who dares," he demanded hoarsely of the courtiers who stood near him, "who dares insult us with this blasphemous mockery? Seize him and unmask him, that we may know whom we have to hang at sunrise from the battlements." It was in the eastern or blue chamber, in which stood the Prince Prospero as he uttered these words. They rang throughout the 7 rooms loudly and clearly, for the prince was a bold and robust man, and the music had become hushed at the waving of his hand. It was in the blue room where stood the prince, with a group of pale courtiers by his side. At first, as he spoke, there was a slight rushing movement of this group in the direction of the intruder, who at the moment was also near at hand, and now, with deliberate and stately step, made closer approach to the speaker. But from a certain nameless awe with which the mad assumptions of the mummer had inspired the whole party, there were found none who put forth hand to seize him, so that, unimpeded, he passed within a yard of the prince's person, and while the vast assembly, as if with one impulse, shrank from the centres of the rooms to the walls, he made his way uninterruptedly, but with the same solemn and measured step which had distinguished him from the first, through blue chamber to the purple, through purple to green, and through the green to the orange, through this again to the white, and even thence to violet, ere a decided movement had been made to arrest him. It was then, however, that the Prince Prospero, maddening with rage and the shame of his own momentary cowardice, rushed hurriedly through the 6 chambers, while none followed him on account of a deadly terror that had seized upon all. He bore aloft a drawn dagger, and had approached, in rapid impetuosity, to within 3 or 4 feet of the retreating figure, when the latter, having attained the extremity of the velvet apartment, turned suddenly and confronted his pursuer. There was a sharp cry, and the dagger dropped gleaming upon the sable carpet, upon which, instantly afterwards, fell prostrate in death the Prince Prospero. Then, summoning the wild courage of despair, a throng of the revellers at once threw themselves into the black apartment, and, seizing the mummer, whose tall figure stood erect and motionless within the shadow of the ebony cloak, gasped in unutterable horror at finding the grave cerements and corpse-like mask which they had handled with so violent a rudeness untenanted by any tangible form. And now was acknowledged the presence of the Red Death. He had come like a thief in the night, and one by one dropped the revelers in the blood-bedewed halls of their revel, and died each in the despairing posture of his fall. And the life of the ebony clock went out with that of the last of the gay, and the flames of the tripods expired, and darkness and decay and the Red Death held illimitable dominion over all.
That was good. I've never actually read that before, but god dang. I guess it's a classic for a reason.
Exactly.
I think that is a good and classy note to end on, unless there's any stories you particularly wanted me to read from the list.
I just want to take a real quick moment to comfort the chat, because these might have been a whole bunch of very, very scary spooks and scares and stories that we've just told, but
we created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never.
I like.
did it?
That's a very good impression of Jonathan Frakes you're doing there.
Thanks. I've been working on it real hard.
Oh, Stub-a-Dub will never die. Thank you for the follow.
Oh, thank you.
And hey, if there's any folks in chat who have watched and enjoyed and aren't following us, then hey, please consider hitting that follow button. Love to have you come back another time.
Or it says, I'm so frightened my skeleton jumped out of my mouth and ran away. Oh no.
Oh, so you're saying that a skeleton popped out?
A skeleton popped out. Oh, that's the scariest of scares.
I'm so spooked and scared. Okay, we are going to wrap up there, folks. I think we are going to do a little raid. It looks like Sophie Baby is streaming, so let's just drop in on her and go do some funny. She's doing Metal Gear Solid 2. And hey, thank you all.
Scariest Metal Gear Solid game.
Absolutely. Thank you all for coming along. It's amazing to have you all here, and well, happy birthday to me.
Yeah, happy birthday to you, Jax. I love you so much.
I love you too. Wow.
Wow.
We are going to be back at 9:30 Pacific on Monday, or are we earlier on Monday?
No, it'll be normal stream times on Monday.
Okay, 9:30 Pacific on Monday, and I believe 9:30 Pacific through the week. Where we'll be playing Grim Fandango Remastered until we beat it. So look forward to that during the week, and at the weekend, what do we have? Well, we'll figure that out.
We've got some stuff.
Yeah, I think...
Oh yeah, we've got another very special secret stream on Saturday.
We sure do. I'm excited for it. It's only going to be special and secret until I put the schedule up. So
yeah,
you know.
That's fair.
Okay. Let's get that raid a-going. Okay. Thanks again for making this a really, really rad and fun stream. This one took a lot of planning, and a lot of folks helped out, and couldn't have done it without y'all. I super appreciate y'all that have helped out, and y'all for coming along. And with that,
It's a great time, everyone.
We're gonna head out. Take care. Mwah.
Mwah.
Oh, that's a good one. I should have gone with... Yeah, I get it. Spooky
Good.
smooch.
Go ahead.
Okay, bye.
Bye.